But what made you say, you know what? I don't identify as Mexican American. I don't identify as Chicano. Like, what am I?
I went to jail, bro. As funny as it sounds, I went to jail.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. The majority of us never bothered to go get papers, never bothered to go get a license. We'll spend $15K on a quinceañera, but they won't spend $15K on an immigration lawyer. Really looking back, like actual racism, like get the fuck out of here, you goddamn beaner. Like I've never experienced that from white people. It's always my own people who have met me with the most hatred.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
I think that a lot of us, again, and it goes back into the conversation we were having off air, is the whole lack of identity thing. I don't think we've ever really had, at least here in America, right? I mean, if we think about the word Chicano, it's almost like Mexicanito. It's like Chicano, you're not Mexican and you're not American. So what are you? You're a Chicano. Okay, cool. And then we ran with it. And what does it mean to be Chicano? Like, are there rules or the regulations? Because there's a town, I think in Japan, they dress like what you would think a Chicano dresses like. So it's like, okay, so what's a Chicano? Can anybody be a Chicano? Can a Honduran be a Chicano? A Salvadorian? Like, what is it? And I think it goes into that. There's a lack of identity, right? Because if we create an identity from lack of identity, is it really an identity? You see what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Like, what are we going to be for the next 30 years?
But what do you think created all these, well, for me, all these terms, Latinx, Chicano, etc., it creates division amongst us as a community. So it's like, first of all, who came up with these terms?
Yeah.
And what do you feel? Do you think that those terms create division?
Well, quick disclosure, I don't like to talk about what I feel. I talk about what I think, and I think that it does create division. And I think that the reason why it creates division is because so many people are basing what they identify with via their feelings. I feel like I'm Latinx. I feel more Hispanic. I feel more Spanish. I feel more Latino. I feel more Mexican. I feel more Chicano. Okay, that's, let's say, 6 different Mexicans identifying as 6 different things. But what are all 6 of you? If I were to put all 6 of you in a box, what would I call you guys, right? Who would give us that identity? You know what I mean? Because if you really think about it, in American culture, we're new in terms of actually deciding how we are going to be viewed as. Because if you look at the movies, man, look at the movies and how we're portrayed. We're either the gardener, or the construction worker, or the maid, or cholo too. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, you'll be cholo too. You got 3 lines, and your line is damn ese. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we? Right?
Well, he ain't lying.
You know, and then we look at somebody who speaks with different grammar, and what do we get associated with? He wants to be white.
My favorite right now, coconut.
I heard you say that. Yeah, white on the inside, brown on the outside. But why are you white? Why? Because I choose to speak with proper grammar, because I want to enunciate my words, you know, or because I don't have an accent. Why am I trying to be white? Because I dress different, talk different, think different.
Because you think different, and it doesn't align with the programming that we were raised with.
Yeah, and you brought something up really interesting that is an emotional programming, right? They're using our emotions collectively as a group of people, because yes, it's collectively, it's not individually. I think a lot of people think they're really special, and they think that these things don't apply to them because they see different in their own reality. But the reality, right, the objective reality is that collectively as a group of people, we are being controlled and manipulated via our emotions. The first thing, and it's media. I mean, it's all media, bro. They're the ones that are, well, who runs the media are the ones who are controlling us via their emotions.
I agree.
So are we going to think logically? Which is, it requires a lot, though, to think logically, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of self-development you got to do, figuring out who you are as a man. Because at the end of the day, you know, and this is, you know, ladies, before you guys get mad, this isn't nothing towards you guys. It's just, you know, men, we manipulate the world around us. That's what we're here for. So really men run shit, right? Men, are we going to look within ourselves, understand who we are as men, step outside of ourselves and look at what we have and make a decision logically, right? Via the objective facts. Who are we in America? Who do we refuse to be? Who are we going to become? And how are we going to exist for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
What do you think the biggest struggle is going to be with people trying to assimilate to that thought process?
I was watching The Matrix on the way here.
Which one?
The first one.
My
the best one.
It's one of my favorites.
And Morpheus said this. I was watching The Matrix and Morpheus said this. He said, we don't pull people out. We don't unplug, he said. We don't unplug people out after a certain age because it becomes harder for them to accept the reality, right? Which is you've been living a dream your entire life. So I think that the hardest part is going to be, and that's why, you know, when I get hired by clients, I tell them this. I'm like, hey, look, man, you have to be the best version of yourself because you never know who looks up to you, right? You're 21. You believe you look up to me to a certain level, but the reason why I'm helping you and I want you to be aware of the possibility that someone might be looking up to you is because in reality, I'm talking to the 12-year-old, but I have to talk to him through you, right? So I have to lead by example so you can lead by example so they can receive that example, right? So the hardest thing I believe for people to assimilate to who are you, who do you refuse to be, who do you want to become, how are you going to exist, is unplugging from what we know as reality. I mean, the first thing that somebody says, and we spoke a little bit about it off air, was, si le estás hablando a los mexicanos, ¿por qué no le hablas en español? And it's like, well, that's not our original language either way. You know?
True.
And the Mexican American barely talks Spanish. You know? I mean, the majority of us are no sabo kids. Like, let's really dig deep into that. So it's what your father told you or what your mother told you, that was their reality. Now it's time for us to create our own reality, right? And I think it's going to be hard for people to accept that. It's going to be hard for people to take, because it was hard for me, right? To pull up my pants and not sag anymore. It was hard for me to change the way that I dress, to not talk with slang. It was hard. It was difficult, right? Because it's a drug. I mean, we're addicted to that culture or lack of culture. That's what we were born thinking we were supposed to be. So I think it's going to be that, man. It's unplugging, you know?
You said something very important to me that I think I want to explore a little bit deeper. You said Spanish is not our first language. And you mentioned it over there. And that's when I was like, all right, cut. We need to come over here because this is very valuable information. What was our first language?
So I don't know what our first language was, but I know that we weren't speaking Spanish before Hernan Cortes came and destroyed 95% of the indigenous population, you know? So it's, if you think about it, right? And again, are there some, and it's funny, right? At this point, when you hear these little pueblitos that talk this indigenous language, they don't call it a language. They call it a dialect.
Dialecto.
So it's less than a language, right? That's what they consider it. They've always considered us as less than. So they don't even say, oh, they're speaking an ancient indigenous language. Oh, no hablan dialecto, right? No saben. My favorite term is this. ¿A cuánto los tamales, paisa? That's my favorite term, and I'll tell you why. Because number one, you can't hide el nopal. That's 100%, right? But I embrace it. People say, este tiene el nopal en la frente, I'll comment back, thank you for noticing, right? But we've always been less than. That's what we were trained to believe. So if you don't speak Spanish, you're less than because you speak a dialect. A dialect is like slang. A guy that speaks English from New York technically is speaking dialect because it's English, but it's a native New York form of English, right? Quote unquote, a dialect. So this language that these indigenous people are speaking, this is our original languages, right? Maybe the few that are left, but I don't know what language specifically we were speaking, but I know it was various ones. And it wasn't Spanish. So that's an irrelevant, argument that people bring up. Oh, speaking Spanish.
And you also mentioned there's 3 types of Mexicans. I don't know if that's what you said over there. And you were talking about the mestizos. Could you explain to me what the 3 types are?
Oh, yeah. No, I was talking about the 3 racial groups in Mexico.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. That's what you were
the 3
saying.
racial groups in Mexico. Okay, so you got black, European, and white. I mean, black, European, and indigenous.
Okay.
So if you look at what race is, right? Not ethnicity, right? Race. Yeah, black isn't a race, white isn't a race, and indigenous isn't a race. But if you look at these racial groups, right, you have Europeans, you have black, and then you have indigenous. And then the mixture of these races in Mexico, because there is colorism in Mexico. And we spoke about it. The darker you are, the more you are associated with ignorance, with lack of knowledge, with lack of education, with low class, right, with poverty. AKA a cuanto los tamales. And then the lighter you are, the more you're associated with high status, right? With wealth, with education. And the term mestizo, it's similar to the term mixed or mulatto for black Americans, right? Where it's the mixing of white and black. In our case, the mixing of white and indigenous. But really, the seed is carried with the father. You are whatever your father is. Now, if your father is a European man, sure, you're European, but there's not a mixture, right? I was watching this. It's a podcast also. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's some indigenous brothers, and they were talking about percentages, right? If you're 40% indigenous and 60% European, you could still consider yourself indigenous. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that it's broken up into a percentage base. I think that it's, if your father, whatever your father is and whatever his father is and his father is, because if you really think about it, the reason why us as men have protected our bloodline for centuries is because we understand that our blood is carried through our children, right? So for example, my son is going to have the semen that I have inside of me in his balls and his son and so on and so on. But my bloodline ends with my daughter and her husband's bloodline continues through my daughter, right? So it's whatever your father is. It's whatever your father is. But it's black, European, and indigenous. Those are the 3 racial groups. I mean, we can't look any further than that. Everything else is made up. Everything else is just, like, again, labels. Latinx, Hispanic, Latino, Chicano, Mexican, whatever.
So when somebody asks you, what do you identify as?
It depends on who I'm talking to. It depends on who I'm talking to. You, at this point, I would say I identify as a man of indigenous descent, of indigenous and Negro descent, right? But if I'm talking to someone who doesn't know any better, I'll be like, yo, I'm Mexican. If I think he has a certain level of intellect, I'll be like, I'm a so-called Mexican, because that's going to provoke the question, what do you mean so-called? And I'm like, well, Mexican was an identity given to, if you really think, you don't even say Mexico like that, So it depends on who I'm talking to, right? It depends on who I'm talking to. Hispanic, I don't identify as. Latino, I don't identify as at all. But it, again, depends on who I'm talking to. Because Hispanic, if we look at the etymology, it's, pertaining to Spain, property of Spain. Latino, Latin, property of Rome. It's just, I'm no one's property. I'm not the property of those who conquered us.
You're the first one that ever gives me that answer. You know that? And that's great. Because I feel that you've done a lot of research of where you come from, and that takes time and effort. And I don't think people are willing to put that time and effort.
I search, brother.
So
I want to know. I want to know who I come from, right? I want to know who I come from. Who do I descend from?
But what made you say, you know what? I don't identify as Mexican American. I don't identify as Chicano. Like, what am I? Like, what sparked that interest that you're like, all right, let's take a deep dive?
I went to jail, bro. As funny as it sounds, I went to jail.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, I did a lot of, you know, because, bro, I didn't think, you know, I'll say this, my spiritual path took me to wanting to figure out who I was, because, you know, I tried the whole Islam thing. I don't believe that that's us. I believe in Jesus Christ, but I kind of took a path, right? And I sauntered a path, and I came across a labyrinth, and within that labyrinth, going through different dead ends, I was able to come out of that labyrinth and be like, you know what? I've been told a lie. And this lie is in the form of this label, this identity that was created, that was given to me by my oppressors, by the people who conquered us, who enslaved us, right? A lot of people think this, and I have this conversation with a lot of my black brothers, because they think that the so-called Mexican man or the so-called Hispanic man in general didn't suffer slavery, and we did. We were enslaved not in plantations, but in encomiendas. So the equivalent of the American plantation that had black slaves in Latin America was La Encomienda, that had indigenous slaves. Now, the way that they paint the picture, because they successfully took us over, bro. I mean, they, you know, there's a movie called Fast and the Furious, and it said, you know, when the Spaniards came to conquer the indigenous man in Latin America, they tried to overthrow him through violence. But when he conquered the indigenous man in Brazil, they overthrew him with gifts. By that time, you know, they were already, you know, just almost fully conquered. But for us, I think that one of the biggest things that a lot of people fail to realize is the more you accept what was given to you by somebody who hates you, the more you're going to believe them. So I was able to swallow the hard pill and say, you know what? No, man, these people enslaved us. These people took us over. I'm not going to identify by these labels. But just saying that isn't enough. I got to dig deep into who I am, who I come from, because that's going to let me know who we're supposed to be, right? And I believe that the more you come to a conclusion in regards to who you come from, it's going to be a bit easier for you to understand who you're viewed as, what you're viewed as, but most importantly, well, who am I going to be for the next 30, 40, 50 years, right? Right? Who am I going to be? Am I going to be what I was told I was supposed to be, or what I'm being shown I'm supposed to be, or I'm going to be who I am choosing to be, right? And that's going to look different for a lot of us, because the way that you express manhood is different, but the core values that make you a man are the same. It's like a recipe for a cake. If I give him a recipe, you a recipe, me a recipe, the core ingredients are going to be eggs, flour, baking powder, oil, 350 degrees. But you might make a tres leche cake. I might make a red velvet cake. He might make a chocolate cake. But the core ingredients are the same. We're just expressing our creativity as to how we think that cake should look a tad different, right? And I think that once we come to that conclusion as men, again, as men, ladies, sorry, but you know, you guys don't really, women only run things amongst sexually undisciplined men. But when a man is sexually disciplined, women have virtually no power. So I'm talking to men, right? Men, it is your duty to fulfill. You're supposed to decide who we are going to be. And it starts with these conversations. Who gives a fuck who Jenny 69 is fucking? No one gives a fuck, right? Only poor people care, right? Only ignorant people care. People who don't know no better, and that's how they control us. But we're too busy wondering what they're doing, what these, you know, artists are doing, and I get it because I've been there. And we're not worried enough as to, well, who are we becoming as a people right now? You know, because we're exactly where the black community was 40 years ago. We're right there. 40, 50 years ago. So what are we going to be for the next 40, 50 years? We're finally trending. Mexicans are finally trending. You know, we're finally
That's a good thing. Right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. We're finally trending. We're finally, the new year making some noise and everything, man, and comedy and music. But that's just entertainment, right? I did Power 106. I did Power 106 a month and a half ago, and I said too many of us are making us laugh. I'm gonna make you guys a little angry, and truth will make someone angry.
Okay, well, to the point, that's what I was going to say. Well, it's not that you're trying to make people angry. It's just that truth triggers emotion. And emotions, you're going to have a lot of people that are angry out there because of what you say.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the truth does hurt. And the truth is hard for people to accept sometimes.
The truth shall set you free.
And I think that's what we're encountering now. It's like, you've seen my previous episodes, and it's nothing but truth, a lot of truth, and people just can't handle that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
it hits them. It hits them bad. I'll say this whole immigration thing. This is really not our fight, Mexican American man. This is not your fight. This is your parents' fight. This was your parents' fight. I think I was young too. I was maybe like 13 at the time. I asked my father. It was one of those times where he was around, and I asked him. I was like, "Pa, ¿a poco usted no está preocupado que están deportando a la gente?" He said, "Boy, they've been deporting us for years now. Well, I'm still here." And I'm like, it gave me like this look. I'm like, you know what? My father's been in this country for 35 years. Never bothered to, and this is the majority of it. Let's be honest. The majority of us never bothered to go get papers, never bothered to go get a license. We'll spend $15K on a quinceañera, but they won't spend $15K on an immigration lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, para la niña. Tú pon para las cervezas, tú pon para el salón, tú pon para el vestido.
Para la banda.
Para la banda. Para que toque toda la noche. Right? Tú para el pastel. Le vamos a hablar al tío no sé quién
Vamos
para que
puros padrinos.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like we did the same shit for my sister's quince. No, que tu tío va a poner para esto, tu primo le está yendo bien, que él ponga para las videos. Like, yo, come on, man. But we don't have enough money to become citizens in this country. Let's be honest. So I don't think this is our fight, Mexican. I think we have bigger fish to fry as Mexican Americans here, as Mexicans in America. I think we have bigger fish to fry than to be worried about immigration. Is it sad? Yes, it's sad. My mom, my uncle, my grandma, whatever. It's sad, but that's emotion. How do we move forward? Now that we have a voice, right? How do we move forward? And again, this is from the outside looking in, but throwing rocks at ICE trucks like we're kids in Baghdad, that's not the way we go about it. We look like a bunch of toddlers throwing a tantrum. We're throwing tantrums. It's like, I don't want to go back to Mexico. I want to stay here. Okay. Is this how we do it? Is this how we're going to go about it? Right? I think we got to express ourselves more than what we're used to expressing ourselves. Right? Logically. Like, we look like we're crying. You know what I'm saying? And they show the worst of it, right?
But it has a lot to do with the propaganda machine. Because they know how to, of course, even when I look at it, I'm like, fuck, that should be triggering me. But I'm like, all right, step back. Like, they're only going to show you what they want you to see. I mean, there's just a lot of craziness going on out there, man.
I haven't, I don't think that people realize how powerful the manipulation of emotions is. I don't think they realize that, you guys, the majority of you are not in control of your emotions. You don't understand how manipulated you're being. And again, the Matrix example, you're plugged into this machine and you think you run your life. You think you control everything, but it's the music you're listening to. It's the shows that you're watching. Is whatever you see on IG. And it's manipulating you into coming to a conclusion and you think it's yours because you think you're special. It's like, oh no, I think for myself. No, you don't think for yourself. You haven't done enough searching. You don't think for yourself, right? You got to do a lot of self-development. Brother, I'm 32 years old. I'm a relatively young man. And I tell her this all the time. And I tell all my clients this all the time. It's going to take me more than 5 years to change 27 years of behavior. I still have my moments, right?
I think we all do.
I like to believe that I'm at least 90% in control of my emotions. I do a lot of journaling. One thing that I recommend the most to the clients that hire me is journal. Journal your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. Why? Because we're men, but we still feel shit. We feel things, but we're not allowed to express them the way we were taught. We have to express them a certain way, right? We have to understand them a certain way. I think journaling is one of the biggest and most powerful weapons that we have at our arsenal, right? So I tell people journal on your path to self-discovery. It's going to take me longer than 5 years to change 27 years of behavior. Now imagine changing the last 100 years of behavior as a collective of people. It's going to take us longer than 5 years, 10 years, 15. I'm like, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than us. This is, how are we going to exist for the next 50 fucking years? Right? Who are we going to be in this fucking country? Are we going to be a bunch of toddlers throwing tantrums because they don't want us here? Or are us, who we have a right to be here because we're born in this country, are we going to dictate how we move forward for the next 50 years? Like, what are we going to do? Our parents can't do shit anymore. They can't do nothing. They came here illegally. God bless, they gave us the opportunity to be born in this country, whatever. We're fucking anchor babies, whatever. Mm-hmm. We're here now. What are we going to do? Are we going to cry about why our parents can't be here? Or are we going to do something positive with the time that we have left? You know what I mean? Like, because the importance that we have, us at our age, is showing the 20-year-old what we can be. That's why I believe that it's such a big thing for us to have this conversation. Right?
Absolutely.
Rather than, again, talking about who's fucking who, right? Who got robbed, who needs to check in. Like, come on, man. What are we silly? What are we doing?
But it starts with us, and it starts with this type of platform speaking on issues that matter, brother. Mm-hmm.
True Hustle Podcast.
These are very uncomfortable conversations that people are not willing to have. Mm-hmm. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Because they're not ready for that smoke. You're gonna get social media could be unforgiving.
This is real gangster shit, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This is real gangster shit, right? This is what because this is gonna make not only our people, because I've noticed, and I said this, and I don't mean to interrupt you, brother, but
no, it's okay. We got 6 hours, bro.
I've never.
got 6 hours on those cameras.
I get more hatred from men that look like me, bro.
Why do you think that is, brother?
I think it's because it's easier to despise yourself. But check this out. It's easy to despise yourself, but you'll never admit it to yourself. You'll never say, I hate who I see in the mirror. So you're going to look at the next motherfucker that look like you and say, I despise him because he's doing everything that I know I can do, but I'm not willing to do. It takes a lot to become something that's worthy of status, that's worthy of hearing. Think about how many people you subscribe to you. How many people view your YouTube or watch you on Instagram. It took you a while for people to even respect your voice. You had to do a lot of internal development in order for you to come out. And that's for everybody, bro. People sit there and say, oh, you're 5'3" and you weigh 130 pounds. No, bro. I'm 5'8" and I weigh 158 pounds, 56 pounds, right? But it took a long fucking time for me to get there. I was 220 pounds. It took me a lot of chiseling, right? I like to talk with slang, but it took me a long time to learn vocabulary, right? To sit down and listen to things that are going to educate me and help me speak with a voice that people are willing to listen to. People don't feel like they have to listen to us. They want to listen to us. And it took a lot to do that. But the guy who sees us and we look like them, again, el nopal en la frente, we look just like them. And we're at a higher position that they are because we were willing to do that work, that sacrifice, those long nights, those early mornings, right? And they hate us for it. But truly, truly, and that's why I never get angry, they hate themselves. I never get mad at the comments, bro. I never get mad at the comments. But I do ask why. Why does he feel that, right? I'm not mad at you for feeling that. But it does sadden me that you feel that.
I agree, because I think it's all about perspective, right? And once you start seeing things this way, you're like, damn, you took the time out of your day to write this whole ass essay on an Instagram post.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just a reflection of what you got going. And maybe they're dealing with stuff that they're battling with their own issues, and you're just conveniently there for them to just attack you.
It's
or
easy.
Me.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you can't fight fire with fire, and it's like, brother, it's all love.
Yeah. What I do is, I'm petty. So I'll, no. I
sometimes
ask them
I be having McPetties for fucking breakfast.
Yeah.
I have my moments where I'm like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
you know?
no. But you got to do it strategically, bro. And here, I'll ask them questions. Because I've been everything under the sun to these guys. Your pants are tight. I see a camel toe, whatever. I'll ask them, like, how does it look? What do you mean, how does it look? Why you? So I'll ask, I'll probe them with questions, and it just, like, the engagement grows. A lot of them fall for it. The majority of them fall for it. But truly, like, on a serious note, it's more so like, damn, why do you feel that way? Like, why, rather than learn or take it as an example or see, like, damn, people like us can make it. Why do you hate yourself that much? And again, they won't admit it to themselves. They'd rather hate you. They'd rather break you down, right? I said this one time, and I don't remember where I heard this quote, but I repeated it. And the quote is, even a wise man angers at the sight of his people being destroyed. And that's pretty much the epitome of destruction, is where you see someone that looks like you doing good. Because the only reason he's doing better than you is because of the sacrifices he made. But you despise him. You detest him, right? You loathe him. Just any negative feeling. It started with admiration, of course, because you wish you were that way. But you begin to develop this level of loathing, this hatred for him. Envy, because you're not willing to make those sacrifices. But if you would, you could. But because you can't, you don't. It's a Mexican, not a Mexican.
I have a question. So does that relate to what we were talking about earlier about, like, how you can put up so much good information out, and people will just focus on the negative things and be like.
But that goes back to programming, I think.
Program.
You know why? Do you live in Southern California, and are you looking to buy, sell, or refinance one of your properties? What better agent to represent you than the host of True Hustle Podcast? Go ahead, give us a call or send us a text at 323-352-7946. Now let's get back to the episode, baby. Bring in, if you have 5 Mexicans in the room, and you put something out that is 99% good, and there's one fuck up, or there's something that is negative in that video, whatever they're watching, guess what they're going to point out?
That negative thing.
That negative thing.
Yeah.
But it all goes to how we were raised, programming.
But it's like you also said, like, you took all that time to write that negative ass paragraph. It's like, why not take the same effort and type in positive shit?
Yeah, because you're programmed that way to right away focus on the negativity, on the negative side of it, not the positive side of it, on some shit that, like, dude, you watched that whole video and this is what you got from it.
Or you'll make the assumption of who you think that person is based off of a 15-second video on Instagram.
Yeah.
15, 45 seconds, and it angers them.
How do we change that programming? Because it has a lot to do with our upbringing.
Mm-hmm. I think that, well, number one, we got to understand this. I believe that the majority of men are operating within feminine energy. That's number one, right? So it's a feminine frequency in which men are operating in. Now, we confuse masculine energy with certain things, and we'll get into that, but we'll start here, right? We'll go A, B, C, D. So A, I believe that a lot of men are operating within a feminine frequency, right? Within feminine energy. This is a fact. It's neurological science. Women are more susceptible to negative emotions, right? That's why, if you notice, lesbian couples don't typically work, right?
I don't know that.
Yeah, the divorce rate and the domestic violence rate within feminine couples are higher, overwhelmingly, by an overwhelming balance of probabilities, higher than a homosexual couple between two men or a heterosexual couple between a man and a woman. There's a reason why a man needs to be 100% control of his own emotions when dealing with a woman, because not only are you responsible for your emotions, you have to be in such control of your own emotions. When your woman is being susceptible to negative emotions, you have to understand how to maneuver in and around that, because your woman is the emotional waves in which that crash into your immovable mountain. So that's pretty much how you have to be. Your woman can't be your rock. You have to be the rock for her, because a woman's emotions fluctuate week to week. It's funny. They fluctuate week to week.
Yeah.
You know, so that's I kind of like did a little side eye like that. But women's emotions fluctuate week to week. It's normal. What makes it abnormal is when men aren't in control of their emotions. So that's A. Men are operating within feminine energy. B. Women are more susceptible to negative emotion, right? So when you meet something, because I could say this, right? The reason why guys like you, guys like me, the reason why people are willing to listen to us is because we're coming from a place of masculinity. Now, that masculinity gets confused with aggression. Is aggression a masculine trait? 100%. Is assertiveness a masculine trait? 100%. Is violence a masculine trait? 100%, right? Just like anger. However, the way we control our anger, control assertiveness, control aggression, or even though we're capable of violence, we choose when we're violent, is because we're operating within masculine energy. So when a man, and that's why I don't think that there's such thing as, I want to redefine the word machismo. I want to redefine the word machismo. It's going to take me years to write this book, but I'm going to redefine the term, and we're going to really define what it is to be a macho man, right? A masculine man, because toxic masculinity doesn't exist. There's toxic men and there's toxic women. Now, that masculinity in which we operate gets met by men who are operating within a feminine frequency or a feminine level of energy. And because they can't identify with us because of that imbalance, because a man isn't supposed to be feminine, right? But because they're operating within that energy, I think it's met with hatred. Oh, it's not really like that. I said this on this other show I said, I want my woman to cook, to clean, she can't go out with her girlfriends unless they're married. She has to dress a certain way because she's representing me. A man said this, he said, oh, you're insecure. No. Insecurity would be defined by my inability to set boundaries. And the insecurity arises from me being afraid to lose her for setting my boundaries. But because I'm very secure in who I am and what kind of man I am, I will set these boundaries that are non-negotiable. You are not allowed to do these things if you are in a relationship with me. And if you cross this boundary, as much as I love you, goodbye. Right? So I think that men are operating within that feminine energy. They meet men who operate within masculine energy. and it insults them, right?
I agree. And I believe in having those type of boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, even though going back, there's certain gender roles, right, that I was raised with, and I still think that they apply in my personal life. You know, I'm like, if you are married, you know, like, there is no partying. There is no, hey, I'm gonna go get shit faced with my friends and I'm gonna leave the kids here. Like, I don't think that's appropriate, brother, and it won't happen. You know, I don't think it has anything to do with insecurities.
No.
But it goes both ways. Like, I'm not in that frequency, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit older, so it's like, no, I'm not doing that either. But I think that there has to be those boundaries in a marriage for it to be a fruitful marriage.
Men don't really party like that either, though.
Because once you have those boundaries, then it's nothing but there's an understanding. And once you have an understanding, it's like, okay, you know, if you cross, if you, how can I put it? If you do something that, you know, we agreed upon that it's not okay, then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything wrong.
No, I don't think so either, man. Again, like I said, there's a lot of weak men, a lot of men that are operating in that feminine energy. So when I say this a lot, I believe real masculinity is multidimensionalism. I think that a lot of men are operating within one chamber or one dimension of themselves because they haven't done enough self-development to access those other dimensions of themselves. So they become complacent in that one chamber. A lot of these guys, these fitness guys, these bald, tattooed fitness guys, they're operating on the extreme end of one of those chambers or dimensions. So when they come across a guy who can access any dimension of himself willingly, it's met with that ridicule. I believe that a man is going to have different dimensions to himself. For example, the same way I can tell a woman, and I use this example with my clients a lot, the same way that I can tell a woman, look, baby, I love you. I'm 100% in love with you and I'm afraid to lose you. However, I'll walk away from you if I have to. I will walk away from you if I have to, right? The same way that you can give a girl a bundle of flowers, write her a poem. That same man might say, man, fuck a bitch, man. I'm walking away. Man, fuck this bitch. I'm not finna deal with that, right? That bitch talking. No, for real. That bitch, and it's funny. Right. The same way that people associate masculinity with, again, assertiveness, aggression, rugged, right? Dirty fingernails. That's just a part of masculinity, right? You can get your hands dirty, yes, right? If we have to, heck, real quick, tengo que mover unos costales, bro. Can you, I know you came a little late. You'll help me real quick? Shit, I'll take the suit off. We'll fucking, load up some fucking costales on top of that truck. We give a fuck. You know what I mean? I'm Mexican at the end of the day, right? We'll do that shit in 15 minutes, right? But you have to have the ability to do that, get dirty, but also get clean. Have the ability to be aggressive with your brother, but also be tender and soft with your brother. Yo, I love you, bro. Right? And that's that multidimensionalism. A lot of men are afraid to access those other chambers because it's foreign to them.
Because it's frowned upon in our community. I don't think they know how to tap into to that particular part. Because we weren't shown to be tender.
No, we weren't.
Like, we weren't shown to be affectionate, say I love you.
Yeah.
Shit like that. That's why I think it's, but how did you tap into that? Like, when did you become okay with, hey, brother, I love you? Like, the same way that you'll be like, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Shut your ass up. And then a few minutes later, like, hey, brother, I love you.
I would say journaling. Journaling, man. I think that the more I learn about myself, the more I realize that I'm not one thing. I'm an amalgamation of different experiences. So it's similar to the cake. The way I'm going to express masculinity will be a tad different, right? I'll tell you like this. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. My eldest son, that's my bread and butter. Let's say he's crying, he's angry at his sister or something. I'll handle that situation one of 2 ways. One of them is typical. Stop crying. Why are you crying? Right? Mm-hmm. Men don't cry. But the other way, depending on, of course, the situation. Why are you crying? Okay. Why does that make you angry? Okay. Do you think that crying is going to help you process that anger? So I'm questioning, right? I'm walking him through his emotions. Again, depending on the situation. That's where, as a father, because anyone can be a dad, but as a father, you have to be operating from a level of wisdom. And when I had him, I was 21. I was still running the street when I had him. You know, there's a story that I say sometimes just to get a little bit of perspective of who I was when he was 2-3 years old. I got pulled over, pistol in my pocket, right? Serial number scratched out, work in the middle console, pulled over by police. I said, if this nigga asked me to step out the car, I'm hitting the floor on the pedal and I'm gone. That was my mentality. I had my son in the back. Wow. Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of fighting against that, right? So once I learned what I learned now, and again, it's going to take more than, right, 5 years, 6 years to change 27 years of behavior, but walking him through his emotions, giving him the ability to understand why he's angry, why his anger is making him cry, and why he shouldn't cry, right, is more powerful than me just saying, stop crying, you ain't no motherfucking girl. Sometimes I do that, but depending on the situation, again, that's where being a father comes in, because being a father is more than sitting on the TV, hey, cállese la boca. It's more than being a father, right? You have to understand who you are in order to help them understand who they are. Because I'll tell you this, brother, you have babies? Mm-hmm. How many you got? 3? Yeah, so we're
22.
Oh, you got a 22-year-old.
I got a 22-year-old.
Wow, congratulations. Wow.
Thank you. 22. She's going to be 10 in a few days. And then I have my 2-year-old.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I have them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, 22 and a 2-year-old? Yeah, I started young.
Yeah, man. Congrats on that, man. Boy or girl, the eldest?
Boy.
Okay.
Boy, girl, boy.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Me too. Boy, girl, boy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So 11, 5, and 3. 11, 5, and 3. I think that's where being a father comes in, where it's you're analyzing what the issue is, because what's important to him might not be important to you, but you also have to understand why it's important to him and help him through those emotions. And then also, bro, you know, when I deal with him and my 5-year-old, my little girl, he sometimes, oh, why are you crying? It's not that serious. I'm like, hey, you don't understand how much that means to her. So what if she's crying because it's raining and she wanted to play outside? That's important to her. So you got to understand that patience that you're supposed to have with her as a woman, as a female, as a girl, that's going to translate to when you have a girlfriend. I don't want to have a girlfriend. Right, he's 11. Because it's
wait till you're 15.
Yeah,
buddy.
you know. Another thing too, brother, is I know it's going to be harder to be his superhero when he's 18, 19, 20, 21 than it is now. Right now it's easy. He's 11. I take my shirt off. I do something cool, and you know, I do cool. Wow, look at my dad, right? He looks like, you know, but when he's 15, you'll become villainized. You know, he'll villainize you in his world. And then that's where I think your relationship with his mother kind of comes into place. Because I think that the mother plays the part as the median. Like, no, your father loves you, and this is why he's this way with you. Because he knows this, he knows that, and he wants you to avoid this and that. It's like Jesus with God. If you look at who God is from the beginning of the Bible, not just the New Testament, but from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible, logically, you might say, damn, God is kind of a villain. I like Jesus more. Jesus loves us, right? No. Jesus came here to help us understand why God is this way, right? And that's where the mother is. That's why that order, that hierarchy, God, Christ, man, woman, child, right? When we talk about here in the human realm, man, woman, child, our voice is different to a child's ears in comparison to their mother's voice. The emotions we show our children are different. We're not made to be around our children 24/7. There's got to be that little level of absence to where that moment that they do experience with you is so impactful, it like resonates with them for a lifetime, I believe.
I think so.
You know?
I think you need to be absent.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
No, not 100% absent, but
but it's good.
Daddy's working. Yeah.
Yes, they have to see you work. I mean, kids learn by what you do. It's all learned behavior.
Yeah.
So if they see you do nothing all day, chances are they're probably gonna want to hang out all day too.
Man.
So it's like, no, like I think you not being home for a certain amount of hours a day is healthy. Yeah. Because now once you do get home, man.
Especially if they see the fruit of your labor. Like, dad isn't just on the corner with a 40 with his friends. There's this comedian guy. I can't remember his name, man. He's a Mexican kid. I don't know where he's from. I think he's either from Cali or from Texas. And he does these parody videos. And he always plays like the Mexican dad or the Mexican uncle. And when he plays the Mexican father, he's like in a car and the father's screaming at the mom. And he's like, ya me traes harto, me voy a largar, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck, yo. That's our idea. Because you have to step outside of yourself. There's a lot of truth in comedy. Absolutely. Comedians, bro, a lot of comedians, they're hurt. But they and she gets mad at me when I do this, but it's called cognitive dissonance. Am I saying it right? Cognitive dissonance, right? Okay. Where you take pain or trauma and you turn it into something else. For example, some people that get scared, they laugh or they talk a lot. Yeah, no, we got to do this. Like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, it's a serious situation. And it's like, damn, that's what I do when I'm nervous. Like, I just talk a lot. Some people make jokes. Comedians typically, and then just us as a people, will take something negative and turn it into what we see as a positive. And when you understand that and you look at this kid and you see his portrayal of the Mexican father and the Mexican uncle, and you're like, damn, we're fucked up as a people. Holy shit. Is that what we went through? I tell her stories of my father's unorthodox form of discipline. Well,
probably 7 or 2 hours.
and he and I laugh. I laugh when I tell, because it's funny to me. I'm like, yo, I remember one time I threw a hat at my sister and it hit the wall, and my father was planchando, right? He was ironing, and he put the plancha to my arm, bro. Yeah, he was like, cálmese, cabrón. And I fucking jump and fall on the floor, and this man kicked my ass, right? He kicked my ass on the floor. Boom, boom, hit me twice. Tranquilízate, cabrón. And I'm telling the story and I'm laughing, man. And she's like, no, that's not. She rubs my leg. Yo, she rubs my. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's just fine. It's normal. I'm just glad that he was giving me some fucking attention. I'm glad my father. And
what did you think? You were like, what the fuck?
And look, Pa, I love you, Pa. He swears this shit didn't happen. He'd be like, yo, cuando te pegué. I'm like, Pa.
No seas mentiroso.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, I'm like, Pa.
Era un accidente. Había una, like it was something that I was trying to swat.
No, this is him exactly. I'll be like, Pa, ¿se acuerda cuando me pegó la plancha y me pateó en el suelo? Yo, cuando te pegué, man. And I'll recollect the moment it happened. He'll be like, es que tú también te pasabas, man. And I'm like, you see? But it's funny. So you know, I see that again. I see that, and that's how we view our parents. And it's not normal. Like this isn't normal. Like these
Absolutely
things. Now I'm not gonna
not.
sit here and say let's negotiate with our kids. No, I'm not gonna negotiate with a 3-year-old. I'm not negotiating with you. You know, go clean your damn room. But the way that we're taught to process emotions, the way that we're taught to process what we feel, or even the idea of emotions or the idea of what masculinity is, I think we kind of got it wrong there. You know, I think we kind of got it wrong.
Like when it comes to our parents, I always say this. I think they didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. They were raised that way.
Yeah.
Raised that way. So
That's why I'm not
everything's
mad.
learned behavior. Yeah. But we're in an era where we have access to information like no other era ever.
Yeah.
So we know that certain things are wrong. Mm-hmm. So we can't continue to repeat what our parents did to us and what our grandparents did to our parents. Like,
well, that's what they knew.
It stops.
Yeah.
It stops here because we know better.
Because I do believe in discipline.
Absolutely.
I do believe in discipline. I mean, it's in the Bible, spare the rod, spoil the child. Yes. I mean, I do believe it, but I think that some things or some forms or some levels of discipline it's really just misplaced anger.
Yeah.
It's easy to be frustrated at your children after a long day at work. You work 60 hours. You work 60 hours that week. You come home Friday. You know, you're poor as fuck. I grew up poor, brother. Like, po.
Really?
Yeah, po. Like, po, bro. And
like beans and rice.
Beans, rice, huevos. Otra vez huevos. Like, bro, like po, bro. I'm talking about like, we had a 3-bedroom apartment. My mother, my sister, and me shared one room. My cousin and my aunt, who I call mommy, shared another room. And then my grandmother, my grandfather, and my other cousin shared another room. We were poor, bro. And it's interesting because my sister, my little sister, she doesn't remember it that way. She's like, we weren't poor. Like, what do you mean? We were, like, I shared a room with you and mommy my entire life. What do you mean we weren't poor, right? But it's easy to be frustrated when you're poor, bro. And seeing my mother work 2 jobs and still have to roommate with your family, it's like, yo, we were poor, bro. You know, and this is old, so this doesn't really count, but like my sister shoplifted her entire wardrobe for high school. We were so fucking poor. Like we had, you know, one pair of sneakers. Choice. We had no choice. Once I didn't have my own room till I moved out. Right?
And at what age did you move
I was
out?
18. I left. As soon as I turned 18, I left. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're like, it's time for my own room.
Man, I mean,
shit.
Bro, if my closet was in the bathroom. The towel closet was where I put my clothes. My sister and my mother shared a closet, and my bed that I slept on was actually my sister's bed. So my mom's boyfriend bought my sister a bed, and it was like, you know, a typical girl bed, like wood with the flowers and shit, and a mattress, and I slept there. And my sister and my mother slept on a queen size bed in the same room. So it's, you know, a lot of people don't know that. You can't tell, right? Like, oh, this guy don't know what's up. No, yo, arroz, frijoles, right? Huevos con salchicha. You know, if my grandfather had a good week, he put in a few hours. Then we had that mole. If my uncles came over, you know, we might have something better. Typical tamales on holidays. You know what I mean? So it was like that. Sometimes you just, you know, there's no food at the crib. ¿Qué hay de comer? Arroz. Si quieres mío, te hago un huevo. Te estrello un huevo. I'm good, man.
Like arroz.
Para la fucking calle, bro. No, real shit. Para la calle. Oh, ¿qué vas a encontrar en la calle? Shit. A little bit of money. You know, the store. I'll go to the store, steal something.
Earlier you mentioned that you grew up in a neighborhood where you were the only Mexican in that neighborhood.
Me and my family, yeah.
How was that?
It's interesting because I grew up as a Mexican. I grew up as a Mexican with black kids. So my mentality of like, I didn't grow up looking up to, you know, Dickie Pants, and the way that I grew up looking up to dreadhead grilling them, grilled golden teeth, chain. Like, these are the guys I grew up looking up to. These are the guys who I thought was cool. Dickie pants, tall white tee, Jordans. They have a thing called Mexican Jordans, the True Flights, right? I'd never put those on my feet. And I was like, yo, I got to go get some retros. I got to make a little bit of money and get some retros because I can't wear it wasn't cool to be Mexican when I grew up. It wasn't cool.
Really?
Nah, hell no. It wasn't cool to be Mexican growing up, man.
To this day, no Mexican Jordans are cool.
No, so it's, imagine you're one of the only Mexicans. Now, Charlotte, North Carolina, there's a lot of Mexicans now. But if you notice the behavior, we all say the N-word, right? We all wear, Amiri, like we wear whatever. Chicano rap is non-existent on the East Coast. That's only hot here for you guys. I never grew up listening to a Chicano rap be like, oh shit, I want to be just like Mr. Rob, or I want to be just like Little Tweety. Like, nah, I ain't gonna, nah. I wanted to, it's like, yo, Lil Boosie is popping, right? Webby, that's the guy. Gucci Mane, that's who we listen to. Lil Baby is what the younger guys is listening to.
What's it called? Gucci Mane's dope.
Gucci Mane is dope.
We used to bump his shit.
But over there it's the South. It's the South. There's this rapper called Pastor Troy that was popping heavy, right? Trap music is really what was popping. We was in, he's listening to when I was growing up, we was listening to Young Jeezy.
Ooh,
that was,
Young Jeezy was popping here too.
Jeezy, Gucci, Boosie. I have a cousin. He was raised in Alabama. So when we get on the phone, that Southern, hey bro, fuck going on, man? Shit, y'all Alabama, y'all Alabama niggas be trying to copy y'all Charlotte niggas, man. Y'all motherfuckers y'all can't dress, man. So that's how we talk, right? And there's a huge difference. But growing up, it's, again, man, I wanted to be like the dreadhead kids I saw. They were cool to me. There's pictures. I'll send you guys some. Maybe you guys can upload them when you guys edit. Yeah. Grill in my mouth, Dickie suit, tank top, chain. That was me, man. Yeah, that was me. And Jordans, like that's what it was. Forces. I used to beg my mother for a pair of Air Force Ones. Ma, por favor, ma, please. And she looked like $80. At the time, they cost $80. They were going to be like $84.95 after taxes. $80 no estás loco. With $80, bro, we could have bought a week's of groceries. She used to work at the store called Winn-Dixie. So she'd get discounts here and there. $80, bro. Oh, that would have took us a long way, man. So in her head, as bad as she wanted to buy them for me, it's like $80.
It's like that's the whole week's fucking.
You know what I'm saying?
Marqueta, right?
You guys remember Jabos? Now was Jabos popping? So Jabot jeans, oh man, I'm taking out 2004 Jabot jeans, man. It was a jean, of course, baggy, and it had like the straps on them, and they said MB plus B, and it Jabot, but we call them Jabos. They just mispronounced the shit out of them. Yeah. There was like $90, $100. Oh, I used to beg my mom for a pair too, man. So it's like the Jabot jeans, the Air Force Ones, and then a tall white tee from Foot Locker. Y'all remember tall tees? Yeah, tall
we used to get them. We used to get Pro Clubs.
Bro, I used to. Oh my
$12.
God,
I used to get them by the dozen.
Bro, the tall tees. Yeah, it was maybe like about $12, maybe 20, maybe 20. And it's funny because they would have the sticker that said tall tees, and kids would keep the sticker on there. But I'm over there dressed in Walmart clothes, right? And Reeboks, the $20, $30 Reeboks from La Cols or La Marcha. I remember one time, bro, my mother bought me a pair of Machiavelli sneakers. Had Tupac face on it. And I would cover the Tupac face with my jeans. And some kid, I used to hate this kid. This kid came up to me, bro, and he's like, I like your forces. And in the back of my head, I'm like, you motherfucker, goddamn well these ain't no Air Force Ones. But that's all we could afford, man. She paid maybe like $24 at TJ Maxx for them. Yeah,
at least you have some shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh, ten felices que tienen zapatos. Nosotros allá andábamos descalzos. I'm like, damn, but it was the truth.
It was the truth. Yeah. No shoes, no nothing, no toys, no nothing.
My mother is the daughter of a beach vendor. They used to sell mangoes, tamarindo out there in Acapulco Beach. My father is the son of a campesino, field worker. So, typical campesino story. Mijo, yo a los 7 estaba, swinging that machete. That was his life. So for him, one of 7, the youngest of 7, my mother, the youngest of 6, it's like, to them here, just one pair of sneakers, boy, you better be happy. Yeah, you got one pair of sneakers. I was descalzo. I was running around on dirt and el lodo with nothing, right? My father tells me this story, and I won't get too much into it, but my father tells me this story. He said a vendor came to his pueblo. El Blanco was the name of that pueblo. I don't know if it still exists, but El Blanco was the name of that pueblo, and he came through, and he saw that the vendor had 2 Cepillín shirts.
Damn.
A red one and a blue one. Yeah.
Damn.
A red one and a blue one, bro. And he threw a fit. He wanted them. He said, this is the only time. My father's father died a hero in his eyes. Like, my father praises his father. Died a hero. That's all he talks about, his father. No, mi papá, mi jefe. No, mi jefe era, he says, era la riata, mi jefe. Él sí era chingón, whatever, okay? My grandfather beat the shit out of him right there in front of everybody, right? Because he wanted those shirts. And he told me this. He said, my father didn't beat my ass because I threw a fit. My father beat my ass because he was so poor he couldn't afford those fucking shirts. And that was the only way he knew how to make me understand. Because he didn't have no time to walk me through my fucking emotions. He didn't have no time for that. He was too busy trying to feed us. But, he bought him the shirts. And he was like, bro, I wore those shirts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the red one, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, the blue one. He's like, pero me dejó el cinturón pintado. And I'm like, fuck, yo, we think we're poor. Because, bro, I'm an EBT kid. EBT, WIC, we poor, bro. But in Mexico, ain't no EBT kids, man. Like,
no, Mexico ain't got
ain't no government assistance.
They ain't helping you.
Nah, you're eating dirt,
So, another thing I wanted to bring up. This guy's pretty in shape. You know what I mean? So,
125 pounds.
Damn, bro. 125?
Nah, I'm just
I was about to
that's
say,
what the internet.
Damn.
That's what the internet thinks. Yeah. They think
we gotta do some tacos. Nah, just kidding. In our community, I think our food contributes to a lot of obesity. Mm-hmm. Like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's food. If we dig deeper, I think it's our culture in general.
And there's a lot of underlining illnesses that there's a lot of
diabetes,
that we don't talk about.
High blood pressure,
diabetes,
cholesterol.
high blood pressure, mm-hmm. cholesterol. Mm-hmm. But it has a lot to do with our eating habits and what we're eating. Like, what change do you think we need to do collectively as a community to be healthier?
I think accept the fact that 50% of us are obese. That's number one. We got to accept that, right? And again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Is like whatever our parents tell us we believe is what's real. But, the main thing I got met with, no, mijo, estás flaco. Te voy a hacer algo de comer. Estás flaco. Everything is estás flaco. And it's like, no, I'm in shape. It's just that we're so obese as a group of people, we believe that we are flaco when we start losing weight, right? And I had this thing with one of my clients. He told me, yo, my biggest thing is drinking or eating. Eating, my grandma, my aunties, it's always that's flaco. But with my uncles is, no, chingate una chela, ¿por qué? No te he visto en tanto tiempo. And we don't set those boundaries with our family in that regard. But if 50% of us are obese, right, that's just obese. Not overweight. Overweight is one thing, but obesity that's the doctor has to tell you you're obese. Now you can measure it yourself via the body mass index. You can go on body mass index calculator and right, I'm this tall, I'm a man, I'm this age, this is how much I weigh. I think it's the food, but I think that our food is it's a culture thing. I mean, think about tortillas, pan. Everything is
pan, tortillas. everything's deep fried.
Everything is deep
and
fried. Manteca, which is lard for those who don't know. Yeah, so it's a tostadas,
you know what
queso. Everything is, and we could eat healthy eating Mexican food. I'm not gonna say that it's Mexican food. It's just like, bro, it's the same thing. It's the same thing like in the black community, but with us, it's what we were fed when we were on these encomiendas. For example, tripa. Do you really think that we would eat tripa? How many people really like tripa? Unless you were raised that way. Those were the scraps. That's like chitlins. Black folk were fed chitlins during slavery. We were fed tripa en la encomienda. Because the Spaniard was probably, ese pinche indio que come tripa. We're not going to give him the good part of the pork, which I don't think people should eat pork. It's a dirty animal, but just for the example, give them denle la tripa. Las tripas.
That's a great analogy.
You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. The chitlins was being ate by the black slave. La tripa was being ate by the indigenous slave. Boom, la tortilla. Think about what the tortilla is. Now, I saw this somewhere where the taco was invented by us because the Spaniard that owned this particular group said, make me a shawarma. And we're like, what the fuck is a shawarma, right? Meat and bread. We didn't have the bread, so we made the tortilla and we created the taco. Look how innovative we are, right? We created the taco because our slave master said, make me a shawarma. And we didn't know how to do it, so we did meat, sauce, and a form of bread, a form of grain, right? Which is the corn. I think la tortilla, if you really think about it, bro, for those who grew up poor, right? The audience that grew up poor, la tortilla is not, cómete otras tres tortillas para que te llenes. Porque no quiero que me andes pidiendo más al rato. Why? Because we're so fucking poor. Llénate porque no tenemos para comer. We don't have shit to eat. Cómete tres tortillas because tortillas are less expensive than meat. Embárralos con mantequilla. No, ponle unos frijolitos. Cómete unos tacos de frijoles.
Con sal.
Tacos de queso. Tacos de queso is a fucking poor man's food. Pero hay bien que nos chingamos 3, 5, 7 tacos de queso because we ain't got shit else. You see what I'm saying? So I grew up and I'm looking, I'm like, damn, yo, my mom used to just say, mijo, te hago unos tacos de queso con crema. And looking back, I'm like, yo, that's because we were fucking poor. Because I would never feed my children no tacos de queso. Maybe once in the blue moon, si se le antoja or whatever. But really giving them a taco de queso, like there's no nutrients in that shit. That's fat and carbs. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's because we've existed in poverty for so much. I'll give you another one. Oh, el pobre es humilde. Since when did humility become synonymous to poverty? Since when did wealth become synonymous to vanity? Can vanity be a product of wealth? Sure. But humility isn't necessarily a product of poverty. I can do everything in my power to give my children the life that I didn't have and still create children who live their life humble, right? Humble. Mm-hmm. Or I can create children that live their life in vanity. So it's a product. It's a matter of what you want to be. But there's no secret to why our grandparents all have diabetes. Both my grandmother diabetes my entire life, and because she had diabetes, we all had to have diabetes. So we didn't have no fun foods in our house. You know, no. ¿Cómo crees? ¿Cómo crees que vas a comer eso frente a tu abuela? It's like, what the fuck? I'm a child, right? My grandfather had high blood pressure. We all had high blood pressure. God damn, I want to eat something. No, ¿cómo crees? Enfrente de tu abuelo vas a comer eso. Tu papá. I wasn't allowed to call my grandparents abuelo, or abuelo called papi and mami. ¿Cómo vas a comer eso enfrente de tu papá? No, él no puede. I'm like, what the fuck? I want to eat this piece of pizza. I can't eat it. But yeah, man, I think it's a thing rooted in poverty. I think it's a thing rooted in poverty, and then we kind of we're so creative as a people, right? Mm-hmm. We're so creative as a people, and we take something bad and we turn it good. But I think that too creative sometimes, and we ignore how bad that bad was. So now our food, everything is grease, everything is fried. It's pan dulce is amazing, bro. Like la concha is the best fucking pan in my opinion. La concha, right, is the best.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But think about how it's made, right? Tacos de birria.
Fire.
Think about how it's made, right? And we do, bro. And
Fire.
we perpetuate that cycle.
Chilaquiles.
Banging, bro. Bang. I love chilaquiles.
Bro.
I haven't ate chilaquiles in a
lot
while.
of Mexican food is poor man's food, right?
It's poor man's food. It's nothing but tortillas.
I just think a lot of Mexican food.
Chilaquiles is stale tortillas from the day before or the week before, recooked in salsa so it could be soft with crema, queso, cebolla, lechuga, and maybe un huevo estrellado.
Fire.
If you're lucky, bro. I mean, I love you
Hey,
made
I'm
that
on a
point.
diet now, bro. I'm trying to get like my boy over here.
Oh, I'm on a fast. I've been fasting since last night. But yeah, it's poor man's food. We took something. We took the scraps of what was given to us, and we created something from it. And now we've turned it into part of our culture, part of the food we eat, which is great. It shows how creative we are. But if we're creative enough to invent or come up with the concept of zero, why aren't we creative enough to exit or escape from this plantation, this encomienda that we've created for ourselves? A lot of Mexicans are in prison, right? Blacks and Hispanics are in prison. And we're a big population of that. And then if we exit that, the majority of us as a collective of people, we might be free physically, but mentally, man, we're in shackles. I call it cultural enslavement. I think that we're binded by this culture, and it doesn't allow us to exist outside of it because we associate everything about ourselves with this culture. And the majority of this culture was either given to us or we created it from something that was taken from us. You know? So it's like we're given the scraps and we make something. And we're so proud of this creation. We're given the scraps. We made this cup. We're so proud of it. We fill it with water. You know, we use it for so many different things. And then we forget, hold on. The only reason why I made this fucking cup is because I was enslaved by these people and I created this from that. And I some way, somehow, and I'll get a bit personal with this, some way, somehow forgot that I made this cup from scraps. And I'll give you a personal example. I did a lot of self-development, and I came to a point and I looked back and I was like, damn, look how far I done came. And somewhere along the line, I forgot to turn back around and remember how far I still have left to go. And I think a lot of us are at that point right now where we're like, damn, look how far we done come. And then we forget to turn back around and be like, ugh, we got a lot to go still. We get lost in the sauce because we're so creative, man. We're so creative. Where it's like, what do you mean Mexicans are on top? We're on top. How? Where? Who? Which one? A few of us? George Lopez? Who else? Who else? Who else do we know? Mario Lopez? Okay, cool. That's two. All right. Brown men, right? Who else? Univision is blonde hair, blue-eyed, white anchorman. Where? Show them to me. Jorge, like, where are they? Oh, the richest man on in the planet is Mexican. Really? Is he Mexican or is he Lebanese, brother?
Who, Slim?
Yeah. Right? Oh, what about the president of is she Mexican or is she Jewish? Isn't she Jewish?
Don't get me started on Shane Baum.
Like, where? We don't.
Mexican last
Right?
Have you ever met a Mexican with the last name Shane Baum?
I've met Garcias, Gonzalez, Gutierrez, Rodriguez.
Shane Baum.
You know?
Come on, Ja.
Marcos, Martinez. Those are the ones I met. Romero.
But back to your point. We do look back and we're like, damn, look at how far I've gotten. What stops us with turning around and seeing how much
more we got left.
More we gotta go because the road
Complacency. It's easy to be comfortable. It's easy to be comfortable, right? I'll give you an example. She ate Bojangles here, and I don't mean that, but she ate Bojangles, biscuits, and she great genetics. I can't do that. But he was like, yo, just live a little. You could eat Bojangles one time. Look, you got a 6-pack here. You know, you got a 6-pack. Blah, blah. But yeah, Bojangles is fried food. It's fried chicken.
I was like, Bojangles. I heard that in a rap song.
Yeah, it's fried. It's fried chicken. Again,
I don't know what it was that.
I have, you know, and people are gonna hate me for this, but to me, if you put fried chicken, a leg and a thigh, mac and cheese and mashed potatoes, and you put 3 tacos de carne asada con todo, and you ask me which one is better, it's gonna take me a long fucking time to decide. That's how I grew up. Yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I like tacos, but goddamn, that chicken look good with the mashed potatoes and that goddamn mac and cheese. Yeah, with a motherfucking chill one.
I get you now.
Oh man,
because for me, there will be no
tacos, no decision.
No,
yeah, 100%.
I grew up in a neighborhood that's 99.9% Mexican, and I have some of my black homies that I tried chitlins for the first time. Yeah. He's like, hey, bro, you try. I'm like, I want to try it. You know, so I tried that. I'm like, hell no, chitlins like $3.
Chitlin tastes nasty.
No,
yeah,
that's right.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah, no. Health wise,
buche and
what's that?
And buche is it's pork, but it's
what part?
No. Okay. Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about chicharrón. I'm sorry.
Oh, chicharrón.
Yeah.
Chicharrón is like stomach, right? It's pig stomach fried. Yeah. Chicharrón.
Fried.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyhow, let's not talk about that.
Pork rind. Yeah. But I think the chicharrón is a bit different than the pork rind, right? No, it's made different.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh.
It's fat and skin.
Well,
but the chicharrón is fried in lard. I think the pork rind is fried in vegetable oil. That would be probably the only difference.
So Monday at my mom's house, they had chicharrón. Yeah. And I'm like, I lost some weight.
Yeah.
And I get there, I'm just like, oh, God, why are you doing me like this?
It'd be like that. That's where the discipline comes in. Exactly. And again, it's the complacency, is the comfortability. Because, sure, if I eat 3 tacos de carne asada or a chicken box, I'm not going to gain weight. But I'm so bent on, fuck that. I'm going to remain disciplined, right? Maybe in 90 days I'll eat some chicken. Maybe, right? In 90 days I'll eat some chicken. But nah, I'm super strict right now. I'm in my animal mode right now, savage mode right now, because it's too easy to be complacent. I tell my son this too, because he'll question. My son will question me, bro, because he's 11, but his mind just, I learned so much about myself with him, through him. And he said, Papa, but you used to smoke. And those kind of questions, right? Papa, you used to sag your pants, right? Those questions make me realize more about myself, because now that gives me the ability to explain the difference. And I tell him this, I was like, yeah, Pa, you know why? Because it's easy to smoke cigarettes. It's easy to smoke weed. That's easy, right? It's hard not to. It's hard not to be around guys that aren't doing anything. It's hard to be around guys who are doing something, because you have to have value. And how do you build value for yourself? And I make them think, because it's easy to be complacent. It's easy to be like, I'm cool. I'm all right. I'm young, Latin, and good looking. It's easy, right? But it's hard to do the things that are going to put you in position that's going to actually build some level of wealth or status, not just for you, but for the people that come after you, right? And I think that the reason why a lot of people have a tough time turning back around is because they feel comfortable. They feel okay. They're like, oh shit, I got my car, I got my crib, and it's okay. I mean, the Mexican dream, the American dream for a Mexican from Mexico is different than what our dream is supposed to be. A lot of Mexicans come here and, no, voy a mandar dinero para México para construir mi casa, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't really serve us as Mexican Americans or as Mexicans in America too much. So what are we going to do? It's like, go to Mexico and live in a mud hut, right? Or no, like, what are we going to do here? But we kind of take that quote unquote American dream and we're okay with the house, the car. I've seen a lot of guys with La Troca del Año and they park in front of a trailer park. And it's like, yo, like, is that what we are? Like, is that how far we are? Bueno, yo tengo mi troca, tengo mi trailer aquí, mi vieja y mi trabajito. And it's like, you know, but we get comfortable. So we forget to turn back around. It's like, oh, hold on, you know. And now with technology, you get a chance to see how much more people are doing, you know, especially people that look like you. You know, I think a lot of guys don't realize like the power of technology. I talk to a lot of men who are doing like construction, who do trade work, and they forget that they're American. But like, bro, at the end of the day, you're American. Why are you taking cash? Like, why are you taking cash payments? Why aren't you opening up a business bank account? Why aren't you direct depositing things in there? Like, why don't you have your LLC yet? Like, why aren't you doing any of that? You're paying all your workers cash. Cool. You got some guys that aren't legal here, whatever. But why are you still working that way? I spoke to a guy one time, and he's from America. I don't know where in he's from, but he's somewhere on the West Coast, and he's like, yeah, man, I gotta go cash my check at the check and cash, and then I gotta go to the gas station and reload my green dot card. I'm like, bro, I was like, are you from the United States? Or, yeah, I was born here. Why the fuck are you going to a cash and check? Open up a fucking bank account, go to Chase, open up a bank account, get direct deposit. If you don't have direct deposit in the company you work for, which you should, but let's just say you don't, deposit your check and use a debit card from your bank if that's how you want to move. But you're cash and check, you're paying them to cash your check, and then you're taking your money to reload a green dot card. That doesn't make any sense. But more and more people I've noticed are doing that. And bro, you're from here. Why are you okay with that? We don't have to do the same things our parents did. My father had to go to a cash and check to cash his check. Oh, todo cash, because you couldn't. But we don't have to do that. We can open up credit lines. We can have debit cards and credit cards. We can have bank accounts. Like, we can have this. We're from here. We don't need to do that anymore.
And there's really no excuse because we have other resources.
Yeah.
So you can't say I didn't know. Yes, you do.
On, man. ChatGPT, if you don't know. ChatGPT, Claude.ai, Google.com. Like, there's so many resources that we have at our disposal right here on our phone. But we're on World Star, we're on Latin, World Star, right? We're on YouTube. We're worried about the wrong thing. Like, I've made money from this phone. I've made money from my laptop. I told one of my clients this. I said, yo, I know I have millions of dollars in that laptop. I just have to find it. But it's in there somewhere. It's in here somewhere. I just have to find it. I got to mine it. I got to see where it is. But it's somewhere in there, you know? But we don't want to do that. We go on Instagram. We look at booty and big booty Latinas. Oh, shit. Big butt. You know? Let me go on one of these blogs. Let me go on one of these blogs and I wonder who, you know, I wonder who's fucking who. Oh, look, you know, she's, you know, like, come on, man. Why does that matter right now? You know? Well, negativity is entertaining.
It shouldn't, though, you know. But it comes down to, I think, what they got going in their personal life. Like, there has to be some type of motivator in somebody's life. Like, dude, like, you got to get tired of your situation in order for you to take. Because it's easy to remain stagnant. But there has to come a point in your life where you get tired of this shit.
But that's the point of their life where they come to and they start blaming everything else, everybody else, right? It's the government. It's white people. It's Trump. Police profiled me. Come on, bro. I've never experienced, and this is growing up as one of the only Mexicans in my neighborhood. if not the only Mexican in my neighborhood. I've never really experienced racism, like really looking back, like actual racism, like get the fuck out of here, you goddamn beaner. Like I've never experienced that from white people. It's always my own people who have met me with the most hatred. Ain't no white boy ever tell me I couldn't do something. I wish a white boy would try to tell me I couldn't do something. I'm a brown Mexican man in America. I'm young, I'm good looking, I'm in shape, getting to the bag. Like, what can America, as long as what I do is within the constitutional rights that were given to me by this country, I can do anything I want to do, right? I can say anything I want to say. Now, of course, IG's gonna ban you, but I could still say it. You know what I mean?
Yes, Mexican man.
Like
that's his
bro.
That shit is so fucking funny to me, bro.
Junior, I mean, come on. Like, we have all the opportunities. Because I'm talking to the Mexican man. And, of course, other people get mad. Yo, what about Guatemalans and Hondurans? I'm like, yeah, I love y'all, too. You're my brother, too. But I'm talking to my tribe right now. I have to talk to them. If you want Guatemalans to move up, Hondurans to move up, follow the platform. See what I do and do it better. I dare my clients to pass me. I always do. I'm like, yo, I fucking dare you to pass me. I want you to. I dare you to. I double, triple dog dare you to pass me. Do more push-ups than me. Wake up earlier than me, right? I have a community. It's a brotherhood. It's called the High Status Mastery Collective. I haven't got it on my shoe. High Status Mastery, HSM, yeah. Shouts out, real quick, shouts out to Diego and Alex Marin for making, again, our creativity expands further than what we were told it was. So shouts out to Alex and Diego Marin for making this custom-made suit out of Laura Piana. So it's got my name on it, Marin. It's a linen and cotton blend. Real nice. Mexican, too. Mexican, 30 years in the game, bro. 30 years in the tailoring game. So shouts out to them. They custom made these shoes, red bottom. They custom made this and by hand.
Really?
So our creativity, 100% by hand. Peak lapels, everything. It's got my brand back here, HSM, High Status Mastery, and then High Status Mastery on the shoe. And I told them this, my clients, I dare you to pass me on the High Status Mastery Collective. I dare you to pass me. They see my routine. They see what I do. I share what I do. It's a level of holding each other accountable, building a brotherhood. And I tell them, I'm waking up at 4 a.m, wake up at 3:30. Wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I dare you. I dare you to do it because I want you to. I want you to master these 4 pillars of high status: appearance, behavior, communication, and digital footprint. And I want you to pass me, right? But people don't want to because they're comfortable, right? Because they're okay being where they are. And if they realize how powerful it would be, right? Whether you're a Mexican man, a Honduran man, a Salvadorian man. Because the reason why I don't say, look, Salvadorian man, you need to do this and this, because I didn't grow up Salvadorian. Mm-hmm. I grew up Mexican. I'm talking to the Mexican man. Now, if you're black, if you're another type of Latino, Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever, and you're like, yo, I fuck with Hector. I want to follow Hector. You're more than welcome. I don't know if you've ever been on one of my lives, but I'll put Mexican only live spectators welcome. No. Yeah. No, so I'll go live. No. I'll live on Instagram. Yeah. I'll go live on Instagram and I'll put Mexicans only. I'll put the Mexican flag and then in parentheses, I'll put spectators welcome. Because I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Salvadorian, Guatemalan, whatever. Come on. I need more soldiers. However, I'm talking to the Mexican man because that's the man that I know. And that's the man that I believe I'm responsible to be an example for. Because again, man, how many guys can we look up to? For real, for real. We don't got anybody to look up to. And I know that if I wanted to look up to a Mexican man, because again, I didn't grow up looking up to Mexicans. If I was going to grow up looking up to a Mexican man, I want him to at least look a little bit like me. At least a little bit, right? Well-dressed, in shape, well-spoken, smart, gets women. He's getting to the money, right? People respect him. Mm-hmm. They listen to him. I want him to at least look a little bit like that, But no, we don't. Who do we got to look up to? Lefty Gunplay? You see what I'm saying? Or
You know what I think is a good-
Capone, or are we gonna look up to Capone?
You know who I think is a good representation of a Mexican man? Is Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. I like Mario Lopez.
He's a family man.
Yes, sir.
This man is 50 years old.
I like Mario Lopez.
In shape.
Mm-hmm.
You never catch him
Yeah.
in gossip.
He
and
speaks his mind too.
yes.
And he got in trouble. I won't mention it here because I know the kind of platform we're on, but he mentioned something about a serious topic.
Oh, yes.
I know you know what I'm talking about. A serious topic, and he spoke his mind as a man and as a father, and he got a lot of backlash for that.
He did.
Now he has a family to feed, so I understand, right? Because ultimately, looking at why he had to apologize is because you're not 100% free yet. You still have a boss, so you have to apologize. But I agree with you 100%. Mario Lopez, in shape, good looking, well dressed, family man. Mexican.
He checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
But you're right. And I think people need to understand that he still is under these contracts. So if I had to apologize if I was under contracts, then I would have been like, I'm sorry.
I got a family to feed. Yeah.
You can't blame the man for that.
Yeah.
I
stopped saying certain words, bro, because my Instagram got shadow banned. And that's what I make.
Me too.
IG is how I make my. IG is how you and I got in contact.
Exactly. And then I'm not gonna. They canceled it for like 48 hours, and then because I was going back and forth, and then they canceled it for a month on my stories. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, enough's enough.
Yeah.
No going back and forth.
Brother, I couldn't go live. I couldn't collaborate with anybody. I could still post, but my posts were shadow banned. Like, it was a lot that they were doing.
Especially because we're making money off of it.
Yeah.
So there's no need. Like, now I'm just like, I want to say, no, forget about it.
Yeah.
I can't.
We got to come up with clever ways to still express ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I do it, right? I had to go through the community guidelines and see what was up, but we have to come up with clever ways to express ourselves and express the truth. Mm-hmm. And I think we can do it, right? Mm-hmm. Of course, ultimately, the bigger we get, we're going to have our own money, because then powers that be will try to shut us down. Yeah. I mean, y'all saw what happened to Andrew Tate, and he's speaking some shit that, is like, damn, that's what we're all thinking. And they try to shut him down. So I already know there's going to come a point. It might not be you, it might not be me. It might be the 14-year-old that I'm talking about, because he heard your podcast, my voice on IG. And he's like, yo, these guys are the kind of guys that I want to see. They're the kind of guys that, as a young Mexican boy in America, I want to be like, because we didn't have that, Mm-hmm. And they're going to try to come after him, because I think this is bigger than us, bro. This
Absolutely.
Is way bigger than us, man. And, I was asked this, like, yo, like, are you okay with people hating you? And I'm like, shit, I'll be the scapegoat. It's fine. If you want to hate me, that's fine. I have tough skin. I don't post my children for that very reason, because they'll sit there and say shit about my children, which I don't want them to deal with that. Now, when my son becomes a man, and if he wants to be a public figure, that's his decision. My youngest son as well. But me, you can say whatever you want. That's fine. I'll take that. I understand my responsibility and my purpose here on earth, and I understand the consequences from the things that I say, and I understand that it's going to come with a certain territory that I have to be comfortable sauntering about. Mario Lopez, great example. I really like Mario Lopez. I do. But one man, it's one man, and we need more.
Hundreds of more.
Yeah.
Hundreds more of Mario Lopez.
And challenging. One thing that I would say about Mario is he's a bit too cool. I think you have to kind of voice, really challenge, really, for real. And again, I come from a place where, and I'm sure a lot of people will relate to this, but I come from a place where you can't be afraid of the smoke. I'm not afraid of the smoke, right? Yeah, I'm cleaned up, but I ain't cleaned all the way up. I'll still, no, for real. And that's why the whole situation with you know
funny.
with when I was wearing, you know, because you are not allowed to tell me what I can and what I can't speak on. You don't belong to our people. Did a few of us accept you? Sure. But that's in your neighborhood, not where I'm from, right? You no one's ever even heard of this man where I'm from, right? So it's
So do you know what he's talking about?
yeah. So
I'll tell you.
yeah, I'll say it, fucking Mr. Capone. You know, you know, he's irrelevant. He's irrelevant. He's irrelevant. But my point is this: we have to challenge these norms. We have to challenge these norms without being afraid of the repercussions, right? Without being afraid of the repercussions, because people are like, they'll get offended. Oh, you talking about? I'll beat your ass. Okay, cool. I dare you.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Now let's get back to the episode.
I dare you. I dare you to try. I dare you to try. Put anger in my son's heart. I dare you to put anger in my son's heart, right? Because my son knows this shit. I don't shield this from my son. He's 11 years old, and I tell him not everything, but I tell him everything he needs to know, right? So it's a matter of there's going to be another me and another me, right? And I'm planning to have more children. So we can't be afraid of the repercussions. We have to be okay with being hated. I'm not a nice guy.
Well, it comes with the territory, man.
Yeah.
The platforms, I mean, specifically for mine, is the platform that I created to speak truth and to accept people for who they are. But that comes with a whole lot of other shit. You can't just take the good.
No.
You got to take the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And appreciate in the same way. You know? So, going back to appearance, you're big on that. And that's one of the pillars of your company.
Yeah.
How important is a well-groomed individual, haircut, looking clean, smelling clean? How important is that?
I think on a surface level, right? Because again, it's 4 entire pillars: appearance, behavior, communication, and then your digital footprint. But with your appearance, you have to break it up into 2 phases. So your physical aesthetic and then your professional uniform. Professional uniform doesn't necessarily mean a suit, right? But it is the way that you're perceived by the outside world. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are actively judging each other based off of our appearance. After that, right, it takes about 7 seconds for someone to make up their mind in regards to who they think you are, what they think you do. Can I like them? Can I trust them? Could I do business with him, right? Could I introduce him to my friends? Women take about 3, but men typically 7. And it's instinctual. 3? Yeah, and it's
Wow.
Yeah, so a men will qualify you, women will disqualify you. So within those 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, a woman will decide why they're not going to fuck you. A man will try to decide, well, I want to fuck her because of this, this, and this. But with us, right, with each other, it's instinctual. Thousands of years, we would see a shadow in the distance, assess it within those 7 seconds, and figure out whether or not that's a buffalo that I'm going to kill and bring home to my family, or is that a motherfucking saber-toothed tiger that's going to kill me and bring me home to his. So we translate that today, and now we're like, okay, is this a guy who I can trust? Now, the manipulation of image and appearance is important because I can control the way this person perceives me to a certain level. However, after you've met me, when you officially meet me, that's when behavior and communication come into play. So my behavior, does his behavior, aka body language and nonverbal communication, his gestures, his mannerisms, the way he sits, the way he moves his hands when he speaks, right? Do they align with his appearance? Or is that a fucking monkey in a suit? Now, let's say my behavior does align, right? I haven't spoken yet. You see me, I'm sitting, my leg crossed. I'm sitting like this, and you're like, okay, this man appears to be a man of confidence. He didn't speak, but he shook my hand, looked me in my eye, and sat down. Now, when I speak, you begin to analyze how I speak, what I'm speaking about, my tone. All this is subconscious, right? 50%, 55, let's just say 60% of communication is nonverbal. 30% of it is tonal, and 10% is vocal, so it's what you're saying. But more people are interested with how you look, how you're saying what you're saying more than what you're actually saying. So again, with the communication pillar, well, how is he speaking? How fast? How slow? How deep are the pauses he takes in between each word he says? What does he emphasize? So we analyze that, right? But it all begins with the appearance. Would you have even let me in the door if I looked a certain way? Would you have even stopped to look at what I have to say, right? If I didn't look a certain way. And then finally, the digital footprint would be social media, the wrap of your personal brand, you know. But all of this is in the building of the personal brand. It's number one, why I'm even here, right? Why I've been able to get myself in the rooms that I've been able to get myself into, at least be entertained by the people who are willing to entertain what I have to say, because I've mastered these pillars. And it takes work and it takes time, but people don't understand how important these things are. Again, you don't have to wear a suit and put on some shades. However, you do have to dress a certain way. Some people say, well, Hector, I'm a construction worker, or Hector, I own a trade company. What should I do? Well, motherfucker, that polo shirt, you better put that polo shirt on with your company name on the left breast instead of showing up with the green shirt that you bought from Walmart with paint stains on it. Show up with some nice brown khaki pants, a polo shirt, dry fit, tucked in with your logo on the left breast, with your truck and your label, your brand on the truck, and all your workers should have a uniform. That's your professional uniform. You should still have a nice haircut. You should still look clean, right? You should still be able to talk to this man, Mr. George. When you go up to Mr. George and you shake his hand, how are you doing, Mr. George? This is what my company offers, and be able to articulate what your company does without him. Because the first thing, especially us as brown men, they think we're going to talk was like, Senor, I'm going to paint the thing right here, and I'm going to, they think that that's how we're going to talk. But if we come up to them when we're speaking with proper English, then we're like, where the hell did this guy come from? You know, so it's
where did this hombre come from?
so it's important, bro, and it translates to everything. It's not just like, oh, bueno, tú estás en el aire acondicionado, por eso tú puedes. No, it translates to everything. And appearance is huge. It's the first thing we see. I'm gonna make up my mind. You know, I get met with this a lot. Oh, it's not the clothes that you wear, it's the man wearing them. Well, who gives a fuck about that man? If I'm going to disqualify you the moment I see you, you're wearing basketball shorts and a white t-shirt, I don't want to do business with you. I'm going to have to take the time to entertain what you have to say, right? The wealthy men that I've met, time is their biggest asset. They don't want to waste their fucking time with you. Why would they even? When a guy with less talent, less worth ethic, but he dresses well, he talks well, is going to be entertained by that wealthy man who could have potentially given you that opportunity. But because it's not the clothes, it's the man wearing the clothes, rhetoric is in your head, you think that that's going to go far. We're not in the neighborhood no more, bro, right? Let's pretend like we got shit to lose, you know? Mm-hmm. We got to move with a state of urgency. So again, I'm not saying you have to wear a suit. Oh, the suit is uncomfortable. Hey, poverty is even more uncomfortable, man. You know, complacency is even more uncomfortable in the long run.
How do you feel about somebody wearing a $2,000 suit that is obese?
I don't think that it'll look good. It's like hustling backwards. You know, so it's the same as, you know, the guy that's obese that has the $500 Louis Vuitton shirt. It's a backwards hustle. It's called the Trilateral of style. It's 3 segments. It's fit, function, fabric. Fit is king. Fit will reign supreme. And fit as far as not just your fitness, but how does the suit fit on you? Does it fit well? Is it too baggy, too tight, or does it fit perfectly? Now, the fit is going to be a product of your fitness. Fitness is always going to be better than fashion, because at the end of the day, regardless of how expensive the suit is, If you're not healthy, it won't look right. You'll just be a big boy in a suit that costs $2,000. After that is the function. Does the suit even make sense? Now, the reason why I wear a suit to this beautiful platform, True Hustle Podcast, is because I'm showing a level of respect. Like I'm going to come and I'm going to present myself with respect, right? Because I respect you. But you don't have to wear the suit. You don't have to. Well, people look at you different 100%, man. People are going to associate you with, someone who knows what they're talking about. But I could have worn a polo shirt tucked in, still look good, chino pants, maybe even some white leather sneakers and still look good. But no, I'm going to present myself a certain way. Plus, it's a beautiful suit. So it's the function. Does it actually work, right? Is it functional for your purpose? A suit isn't functional if I'm going to meet a client about painting his house. That's not functional. A functional uniform for that would be, again, a polo shirt, maybe some chino pants tucked in, a utility belt, something that aligns with my purpose. So the function has to fit the purpose. What is your mission? And then finally, the fabric. What fabric is it made out of, right? Is the fabric coincide with the function? This is Loro Piana fabric, right? It's linen, it's light, it's a little hot out here, so it makes sense. So if you're going to invest in anything, invest in the fitness first, and then you want to invest in the suit. $2,000, you're better off hiring a personal coach. If you're going to spend $2,000 on a suit, invest that $2,000 on getting in shape first, which it's simple. It's hard and challenging, but it's very simple to do it.
That's very common in my industry. That's why I'm asking you, because I do real estate, and I see a lot of people really expensive suits, and I'm like, well, I think you're probably better off getting a membership, a gym membership, a personal coach, and buying a polo.
Yeah. It'll take you longer.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
People associate fitness with discipline, consistency, but you still have to have the ability to be multidimensional, because I meet a lot of guys in the gym who don't know nothing. All they know is macros. All they know is protein, healthy fats, and carbs, right? My caloric deficit and my caloric surplus, and I'm maintaining right now, it's like, okay, that's fine, that's cool, but come on, bro. That's being one-dimensional. You have to be able to expand. So the fitness is cool to a certain level. That's why I don't just teach one thing. There's a series of things, right? So with the appearance, it's broken up into two phases I spoke about. Your physical aesthetic and your professional uniform, because both of those aid that appearance. And even in real estate, it's like, come on, bro, you're going to ultimately fail at both, because your physical aesthetic isn't there, right? And because your physical aesthetic isn't there, when you try to put on the professional uniform, it's going to compromise the way you would be seen, because now you just look like a fat guy in a suit, versus
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because versus a in shape guy in a suit. Even if it's an H&M suit, of course, it won't look like a bespoke, but you'll look better fit in an H&M suit than overweight in a bespoke suit. You'll look better in a $15.99 H&M black t-shirt than a $500 Louis Vuitton t-shirt if you're in shape versus if you're overweight. But people compromise. It's like when we purchase labels, right? We'll buy the Gucci, the Louis, the Fendi, whatever. We're compromising our lack of wealth and our lack of status, and we're investing the little bit of money that we have into something that people, mostly poor people, will associate with hood wealth or hood status, versus the guy who's wearing the plain Jane shirt, pants, sneakers. He might just have a bit more money. Classic, timeless styles rather than fashionable trends.
But that's more common in hood areas, right?
Yeah. But that's why that's why Pablo will go and buy La Troca, the Ford F-150 del Año, and go park in front of the trailer park.
Do you think a good-looking fit person will get further in life?
I think that's just surface level, though. Again,
There's a lot of components.
yeah, there's other components. But if I were to bet my money, and you gave me someone who was, let's say both of them are good looking, but one is overweight and one is fit. If I were to bet my money, I don't know anything else about them, and I would bet my money on one of them. I would bet my money on the fit guy, because I understand that there's a level of control in him. There's a level of discipline. There's a level of consistency in him, right? Are some guys genetically gifted? Yeah, very rare though in Mexican culture. But if I see a fat Mexican guy and a fit Mexican guy, I'm going to associate certain character traits with the fit guy versus the overweight guy. If you were to ask me, who would you rather go to war with? I'm going to go to war with the fit guy, because I know if we're going to spend 2-3 days, no food, no water, he's going to sell me out. Because if the enemy comes, that's why I don't mess with guys who can't get women. When the enemy comes, no, real shit. When the enemy comes, hey, look, man, we'll feed you, we'll clothe you. He'll be easier to fold because he's used to not eating. He's used to being disciplined with his nutrition. Same thing with women. How do you catch a guy? You send a woman as a spy, right? Because it's easier to fold or to flip a guy who's sexually undisciplined. So if you can't get no bitches, all my enemy has to do is send you a bad bitch and you'll tell her all my secrets. Because he corn on the cob your dick, and now you're going to tell her all my secrets while you pillow talk, and she's going to go tell him all my secrets. So I'm compromised because of your sexual undisciplined behavior, right? So if I do my best to be around certain kind of men, because those small weaknesses, it pretty much compromises the entire operation.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing to do is send them. When guys get to a certain level of wealth, the only thing left to compare is, well, how loyal is your bitch? I bet you she'll fuck. It's the art of war. First thing Tupac said was, that's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Why? It's the art of war.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's the art of war, right? If I go on a business meeting with somebody and I know he's overly attached to his woman, you bring your woman with you. Bring your woman with you and instruct her prior to that meeting. Baby, after we eat lunch, go powder your nose and invite her with you. You know, girls go to the bathroom together. I need this motherfucker alone because that bitch influences him too much. And I don't need her listening to anything that I'm saying or hearing anything he's telling me. I'd rather get him alone. So boom, she takes her to the bathroom, 10, 15 minutes, and now I got you alone, right? I took your queen. You can see a person's intentions by how easily seduced he is by your queen. So when you're playing chess, you might just move your queen to a space just to see if he'll fall for the trap, because a lot of them do. Or you can study to see how attached he is to his queen. Every time you attack, he moves. Okay, let me move this way. He moves it that way. Oh, okay. This motherfucker loves his queen. Okay, chess is synonymous to real life, right? So you got to play chess with people. A lot of people are playing checkers and they don't even realize it. They don't realize that they have a queen. They don't realize they have 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, and a set of pawns, right? And even though they're the king on their chessboard, they're moving and thinking like a fucking pawn. You can replace that queen. You can replace that queen with a pawn. You can turn a pawn into a queen. They love the queen because it has all these fancy moves. You know, she blows them whenever he wants. Yo, my wife, I got to talk to my wife, man. Got to talk to my wife. Or I got to consult with my wife. My wife wants to hang out. Interesting. Cool.
What do you think about people that are going to make a business decision, but they need to consult their wife on a business matter that has no involvement with her?
I think that women have something that we don't have, and that's intuition. And they feel it here. Men, we have instinct, and we feel it here in our gut, right? However, very few women can tap into that intuition. And at the end of the day, the decision should be yours. If you can't make a decision without your wife, that says a lot about you as a man. But if you just share the business decision you're going to make with your wife, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, right? But if you have to ask your wife before you do something, that's a completely different story, right? Because again, if it has nothing to do with her, it's like, yo, bro, why do you have to talk to your wife to make, we're here. Do you want to move forward with the project or not? I don't know, man. I got to think about it. I got to talk to my wife. Okay, well, shit, I'll talk to my wife too. We'll have them talk to each other. But let's us figure out what we're going to do. But I don't want to deal with guys like that. I don't want to deal with any guy who has to talk to his wife before he makes a decision. Bro, you're a fucking man, bro. You got to talk to your wife before we go to war? Well, swing your sword, man. What are you talking about? Oh, I got to talk to my wife to see if this is the sword I'm going to take the... So I can't deal with... Yeah, no, man. I think as men, bro, why do you think, this was a scene in Titanic, and when they were at the table, he told the guy, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he said, Jack, would you like to come with us for whiskey and cigars, or do you want to stay here with the women? There's a reason why business and politics was spoken with just men, because we're going to operate in logic. If I don't agree with something that you said, I'm going to tell you, right? And after a certain amount of words exchanged, we'll just go to war. That's how we settle things. We're going to talk, because there's never two winners in a negotiation. There's a winner and a loser, right? Never split the difference. Either you win or I win, right? It was one of us. If neither one of us can come to a mutual agreement, what are we going to do? We're going to go to war. We're going to fight. Something's going to happen. But we're going to allow the decision to be made by our primitive animalistic instinct. Well, can you beat me up? Right? But with women, it's a little bit more, there's more of a voting system. When you have boys in a playground, it's clear who's the alpha male. It's clear, right? It's always the most charismatic one, the one that's more willing to confront, right? It's never always the biggest one. You think it's the biggest one from a distance, but it's usually the one who's the most charismatic, who's the best spoken, the one who's willing to face adversities and confront danger. But with girls, it's not like that, right? They have like a voting system. They kind of have we all get a sip of this cup of water. Men, us three are in here and we have one cup of water. If we're not friends, we're going to kill each other for that cup of water. Like, we're going to go, shit, you get that. I got 3 kids, that are thirsty. Why should I let you get that water for your 3 kids? We're going to go to war. So I think that the man who doesn't realize that is not the kind of man I would want to do business with. A lot of people say this, and this is taboo too. A lot of people say, oh, if he cheats on his wife, I'm not going to do business with him because he's going to cheat me in business. You sound like a fucking pussy, bro. I don't care what you do to your wife. I don't care how unfaithful you are. Are you loyal to the core values that men operate within? You are? Cool. We can do business. If you fuck bitches on the side, that has nothing to do with me. As long as it doesn't compromise our business agreement, right? It has nothing to do with me. It's funny. I saw this video and this guy said, I can't be friends with someone who doesn't cheat on his wife. And I thought it was hilarious. And he was like, why? He's like, because he's too clean. Because he's going to tell her everything that I do. And if she becomes friends with my wife, she's going to tell my wife everything that I do when she's not around. And what I do when my wife isn't around is none of her business, So it's like there's certain guys that I can't deal with because they don't operate within the moral code that men were used to operate against. There's laws to infidelity, right? There's laws that we follow, that we understand. Yo, bro, look, man, I'm not telling you can't do whatever you want to do, brother, but you going to bring her back to your house? You really think that's safe? That's where your wife sleeps. That's where your kids sleep. Take that bitch to a hotel. What's wrong with you? Yeah, you're right. I was like, yo, I saw Junior with a girl at the podcast, and she, come on, bro, that's sucker shit. What kind of man does that? Why would I do that, right? yo, I saw he was being a little flirty. If a man tells your girl or your wife what you do when she's not around, either he hates you or he wants to fuck your wife. You know, he wants your woman, and he probably doesn't even really want your woman. He just wants her because you have her, and he's not satisfied with his. You gotta bro. Like I do a lot of observing, right? And I kind of like pick up on the guy's behavior and how they act and what they say, what they do, and especially when women are around. How seduced are you by my woman? You know, how close are you to yours? How come you start acting different when these girls came around? You know, like you're not usually like that. You can tell a lot about a man by the way he behaves when women are around. Like, look at him.
What are some red flags?
For men?
Yes.
If they insult you, if they super competitive with you, it's like, come on, bro, we're on the same team. I'm going to talk nothing but good. This is a tactic. If you want to get women, talk really, really good about your friend to that woman. Either way, one of us is going to win. I'd rather you win because of me than me win because I threw you under the bus. So what if he's toxic and he ain't shit? I'm not going to tell her that. I'm going to tell her how great of a guy you are. You know, I don't follow it, bro. None of my friends, I don't follow any of their girls. I don't follow any of my cousins' girls. I don't like any pictures, nothing. I don't do any of that. You know, I'm not her friend. You know, what do you mean? That's my friend too. No. That's not my friend. You're not my friend. He's my friend. If like, why are you calling my phone? Hey, is he with you? Yeah, he's here, but I'm gonna have him call you back. Yo, bro, your girl just called me asking for you, bro. Is everything cool? Like, I think that there's unspoken laws, you know, between men. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus. I'm gonna talk highly about you. Yo, have you met my man? Yo, he's dope. He does this, and this. He's dope. You know, he's the greatest guy that I've ever met. He's helped me in so many things. He's like, I'm gonna big up my guy. You know, but the guys that do the opposite, they're truly jealous of you. You know, there's certain things that a man will do or say or act like, and it's like, man, you're just doing that because bitches are around. Why are you doing that? Like, why the moment that these girls come around, you start acting like that? So you just got to watch them, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah. Look at them. Look at how they act. It's a chess game,
and
bro.
will you follow my wife, bro?
Yeah.
Let me fucking find out, homie. Let me find out, dog.
One time, bro, and I'll tell you, and this is true story. One time I was on her live, and some guy was on her live, and I'm talking. I can't remember what I was talking about, but I'm talking, and he's like, bro, I'm finna go follow you and unfollow her because I fucks with you. And I told her, I was like, you see that? I was like, you see how now that he fucks with me, he's willing to unfollow you? And I didn't say anything about this. I was like, that's how men move. Why am I going to follow the woman of a man who I respect? I would never, right? I'll give you another one. I belong to a network. It's called the Built From Pain Movement. Shouts out to Jose Rodriguez. And the day I met him, personally in person, I brought him to my house and I had him play chess with my son. And, you know, he's going back and forth with my son. I think they played 2 games. And then I play chess against him. And, you know, we're moving. He's taking a piece, I'm taking a piece. And I'm studying him through the game. And I notice he's doing some shit. I'm like, why the fuck is he letting me win? I'm getting angry. And I ask him, I look at him and I'm like, is that how you box? Because he boxes. He's like, he looks at me, he's like, nah, that's not how I box. And we're 1 king, 1 pawn each. And I don't like being let win. I'm going to win by my nuts. I'm not going to, you know, don't let me win. So I put my king in a position of being attacked. And he was like, and he's reading me as I'm reading him. And he's like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, bro, because, you know, nobody's gonna win. So we end up stalemating, and it's eating me, bro. We're driving, we're on our way to a cigar lounge, and it's eating me. And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, so why did you let me win, bro? He let me win, actually. We didn't tie. He said, he looked at me and he's like, did you really think I was going to beat you in front of your son and your girl in your house? And I just shake my head and I'm like, motherfucking Jose Rodriguez, that's fucking respect. I'm not going to win a game. Real shit. Like when he said that, I'm not going to win a game for the sake of how your son looks at you. Because my son was right here. We were playing my table. My son was right here. I'm not going to win. I'm not going to beat you in front of your son for what? What do I gain? I respect you. I was like, and it taught me a lesson, bro. Taught me, because I wanted to win.
That shit taught me a lesson right now.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
That shit's deep, dog.
Bro,
like,
brother, yeah.
Shit.
But this is the kind of men, this is how we need to operate as a collective of people, right? Why should I want your woman? I shouldn't want your woman, regardless of how beautiful she is. I should not desire my brother's woman. And if I do desire her, I have to keep that shit to myself. And I have to fight and destroy that desire, because that's my brother. We have more to deal with than a fucking lustful desire that I'm feeling right now for a 2-minute nut.
But do you think it has to do with age?
No.
No?
No, hell no. It doesn't have anything to do with age. This man I'm telling you about, he's, I think, 6 years younger than me. So I have to operate within a certain level of humility to be able to receive advice or masculine criticism from a man younger than me. I have to bruise my ego. But ego is the enemy. It's a book by Ryan Holiday. Ego is the enemy, right? That's what solidified the example of sometimes we'll look back and be like, look how far I've gone, and forget how far we got left to go. When I listened to that book, it said a lot of us operate via ego because we'll accept praises. I hate my ego being stroked, right? Because it's like, nah, what do you want from me? Why are you stroking my ego? You're a man. You want some dick? Why are you stroking my ego? What do you want from me? I don't believe there's anyone genuine. Everyone wants something, right? But I have to allow my ego to be bruised as a 32-year-old man, or at the time I think I was 30 or 29, for a young 26 or 24, however old he was at the time, to teach me a lesson, right? Because it's not something that I didn't already know, but for you to see it happen and accept it and be like, wow, I just learned what true respect looks like. Because I respected him before I met him, but that just like solidified the respect I had for him. But I could have been like, what the fuck this guy thinks he is? What do you mean beat me in front of my child? Nah, but I understood. Yeah, he's right. He had to let go of his ego. You see what I'm saying?
He was younger.
Yeah.
Oof.
You got to surround yourself around killers, bro. You got to surround yourself around men who are on the path to excellence. And there's different components, you know, that make a man. And a lot of us get lost in just one of those dimensions. And we need to be able to operate within all of them, right? What I say wouldn't make sense if I was out of shape, if I didn't dress well. Me dressing well or being in shape wouldn't make sense if I didn't have the vocabulary to back it up. And not only that, yeah, whatever, you can talk pretty and shit, and look good, but are you willing to die behind your words? Are you willing to face adversity when that adversity looks like men that look like you? When it looks like the men you look in the man you're looking at in the mirror, the same nopal en la frente. These are the people who are despising you for what you speak. Are you willing to continue to speak these words, even though you know that they're going to crucify you? If Jesus could take being slapped and spit on and crucified for giving us the real answer, which is eternal life, I could take a few pussies on my comments saying whatever I say, whatever they say about me, right? So it's a matter of, regardless of his age or my age or anyone's age, well, does what you're saying have value? Like true value that I can apply truly. Because again, bro, he could have beat me in front of my son because I caught on to his game, right? It's like, Okay. The fuck? Is that how you box? Because if you box like that, I'd beat your ass. Nah, that's not how I box. Okay. What the fuck? Why the fuck you let me win? Because little me is right here. And little me, seeing his father being beat by this guy who entered our home, would destroy him. And it would destroy how he looks at me. And he understood that. You see what I'm saying? So am I going to do that to his child for the sake of me winning a game based off of vanity and ego? Nah. I'm not going to do that.
Now the question, if the roles were reversed, would you have had the same thought process that he had?
If his son was...
Yes. Like if you were in his home, his family, and you were about to win, will you let him win?
In the moment?
In the moment.
In that moment,
yes.
In the space I was in? No, I wouldn't. I would have tried to... My mind would be set on... Because we have to have the ability to exist outside of ourselves and look at the situation objectively. And it's hard to do that, right? It's a difficult task. It takes a lot of self-control, self-analyzing, self-development, and self-understanding to be able to do that, right? At that particular time in my life, I would have been too concerned with, I have to win this game. Because there's a difference between I want to win versus I want to beat him. It's two different things. I tell my son this all the time. He used to have a cousin who he would wrestle with. And I told him, I was watching them wrestle, and I said, Papi, come here. I don't want you wrestling with him no more. I want you guys to play something else. But why? But I can beat him. I'm like, I know you can beat him, and you beat him easily. I've been having my son doing push-ups since he was little. However, he wants to beat you. You just want to win because you want to win, because you're having fun. He's not having fun. You're not looking at his face. He wants to beat you, right? So I would be too focused on wanting to win. So I would have won. Yeah, I would have wanted to win. I wouldn't have had the ability at that place in my life to exist outside of myself, look at the situation objectively, and been like, you know what? This man is here with his son, and I can easily beat him in this game. But I'm not gonna do that in front. I wasn't, you know, if I'm being 100% transparent, I wasn't operating on that level of self-awareness just yet. At this point in my life, yeah, 100%. You know, it's now if your son and my son are present, I'm gonna win, because now we both have something to lose. Right?
That makes sense.
There's
no, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, what am I gonna lose? Because no, my son is here too. My son has to see how men resolve things. I'm still going to be a gentleman. If you win or if I win, good game. I have a friend, Izzy, my best friend. He's my brother. We play chess all the time. And every time I go back to Charlotte, we play chess. And he wins a lot, but I win too. But at the end of and we're talking shit to each other the entire game. At the end, it always ends with, yo, good fucking game. I'm going to get you on the next one, right? Because there's a level of respect that we still owe each other, right? So it'd be different. But at the time, bro, I would have wanted to win. So that's why I give him so much respect, because even as a young man, for him to be able to do something like that, I'm like, yo, that's ill. And it just solidified my respect, bro. I'm telling you, I just looked at him and was like, yo, motherfucking Jose Rodriguez dapped him up. And I'm like, yo, that's ill.
That's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah, G. I tell that story a lot, man.
That's a lesson you had to go to be where you're at now.
100%.
Because like you said, you
Yeah.
would have won had you not gone through that.
I'm trying to put myself in that situation.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, what would I have done?
Yeah. It says a lot about the man, brother.
You know, like, fuck. Like,
it's the little things. It's little
that's
things
something
like that.
so small, but yet so big.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about him.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wonder what I would have
I got him on my pins. He's pinned on my on my
way.
text messages. Yeah, real shit. He's been on that's my man's. Here he is, Jose Rodriguez.
There he is.
He's
Shout out to
pinned.
Jose,
Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah.
a great story.
Yeah, I pinned him on that. Yeah, I got 9 pins. There's 9 people super important to me that I talk to all the time. Pinned. He's one of them. You know, so like even to this day, like if I have a question about something, I'll seek counsel. Yo, bro, I'm about to do this. What do you think? Even if I still do what I think is gonna be best for me, I still consider his word, because I think that the best thing for a man to have is brothers. I didn't have brothers growing up, right? And now that I'm able to surround myself around men, even though we might be separated through age, through miles and distance, I have brothers that I can call for advice or for counsel, right? Where I'm going to move. I'm going to do this move. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's a good move. I would do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, cool. I might be like, I don't know if I would do that. But that one thing he said, yeah, let me see what I do with that. It's important, bro. I mean, they're looking at it logically, right? And when everybody's operating in the best version of themselves, there's very few things that you have to worry about that would compromise the relationship, because if they're operating within that moral code, they're sauntering the labyrinth of life with the same moral compass as you don't have too much to worry about, because they get women, they get money, they're in shape, they can fight, they're well dressed, they're well spoken. So there's a competitive edge there to keep you on your toes, but they're holding you accountable via their actions. They're holding you accountable via their day-to-day life, and vice versa. So there's like, you're sharpening each other's sword in that regard, right? And because you guys are operating within the same moral compass, I don't have to worry about you trying to hit on my girl when I'm not around. I don't have to worry about you trying to steal money from me. I don't have to worry about you stabbing me in the back, because our moral compass aligns. But there's very few people you can do that with. There's prerequisites that you have to meet, because even David was tempted. Right. Christ was tempted for 40 days and 40 nights. He was spiritually perfect. So temptation will be there, but that's what's going to make us stronger. It's like, okay, you brought your girl around and she wants to fuck me, but nah, I respect him way too much. That's my brother. There's thousands of you. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of you. There's one of him.
What would you do in a situation like that, though?
I'd tell my boy. Yeah. I'd tell my boy straight up. Yo, let me holler at you real quick. Yo, this bitch, bro, is... Especially if he's taking her seriously, which I doubt he would, because if a woman cheats on you, it's your fault, because you should have picked up on the signs. Promiscuous women have a certain kind of behavior, so certain characteristics, certain red flags that you'll pick up on. Is their eyes, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they project themselves on social media, their friends. There's a lot about that woman that says a lot without her even talking, right? So me knowing these guys, they wouldn't take a woman like that seriously in the first place. But let's just say they did, and that happened. Oh yeah, I'm telling them straight up. But like, yo, first I'm gonna say, hey, yo, get the fuck away from me, bro. I'm actually, yo, bro, come here, bro. This bitch just did this. Now the real test would be, will he believe you? Or will he believe his woman?
Oh, that's a horrible spot to be in.
Because imagine you say, and then you're like, nah, bro, you just jealous. I knew you was gonna be jealous.
Yeah.
Like, damn, G, oh, you one of those? That's crazy. I'm about to, that's crazy. You know what? That's fine.
Who's the better cheater, women or men?
I think women are. Women are. Well, number one, when women get caught, it's your fault. If a woman cheats, it's your fault. If you cheat, it's your fault. So you got to understand it from that point of view too, first of all. So number one, I think that women are a bit more stealthy than men are, right? Men get too comfortable. But if you're picking up on certain behaviors, you're going to know whether or not she could, right? So it's up to you, the kind of woman you choose. We all kind of know the women that you see them, you see them give you the side eye. They're with their man, or, they're watching your stories. They're with they have a man. Now you can tell the women who would do it, but it's more of a reflection of that man. So a lot of people say, mostly women, but a lot of men also will say, no, it's not your fault. That person was just a bad person. No, my guy, it is your fault because you should have known better. You should have had enough experience dealing with women to pick up on the signs that would have led you to the conclusion, she's going to fuck your friend, the fitter one, the one that's more fit, the one that's better looking, right? Because women are, when a woman loves, admires, and respects a man, she won't even look at another man. Her eyes are on the ground. Her eyes are on you. But when she doesn't admire, when she doesn't truly love, she might feel like she loves you. But when a woman is truly in love, she's truly admirable, and she truly has reverence for you. Reverence meaning a deep respect. Because if you notice, even in the Bible, it says, men, love your women, love your wife, women reverence thy husband. It's two different instructions. It instructs us men to love our wife like Christ loved the church, and it instructs women to respect their husbands. It's two different things. If a woman respects you, she won't even look at another man because she understands how that makes you look, because she is a direct reflection of you. You are my rib. You are a reflection of me when I am and when I am not around. Right? So if you're loud, you're rambunctious, you're combative, that's just a reflection of my weakness. But if you're respectful, you're modest, you're quiet, you're soft, you're tender, that's a reflection of my strength. Right? Because you understand what you have to be for me. So what makes women a bit more stealthy in that regard is because a lot of weak men, they'll ignore these red flags. Damn, she talks back to me. She talks out of the side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
not happening.
She
homie.
follows guys on social media. She likes guys' pictures on social media. She dresses however she wants. She doesn't consult with me before she wears something. Baby, what do you think of this? Yeah, that's fine.
Would you have a problem with your wife or your girlfriend following your friends?
She wouldn't. I think that you would have to know. I'll answer this question like this. If you met your girl and you're mad that she posts provocative pictures, it's your fault, because she should have not had that in the first place. So you can't be mad at her for who she was before you met her. It's the same thing as like, oh, I thought I would be able to change. You can't change him. He's been that. A man changes when he decides to change. You can't change him and you can't change her, right? So if she follows my friends, she's been a hoe. Why are you following my friends? They're not your friends. You can follow their girlfriends. That's different, right? Their wives. You can be their friends, but why would you be my friend's friend? That doesn't make sense, right? It's boundaries. And I think that sometimes, depending on the woman's age, you got to explain that to them. Like, hey, look, man, these kind of things don't fly. They don't know any better, right? Mm-hmm. But after a certain age, it's like, girl, you 28 years, you 30 years old, girl, what the fuck? What you mean? Like, yeah, you too old, girl, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, you're too old for that, for me to have to explain this to you. Oh, because I had trauma when I was young. Okay, you should have dealt with that trauma.
Should have gone to therapy.
Yeah, like, so yeah, I wouldn't, Right. And I'm not going to follow my girl's friends either. You know?
I mean, makes sense. You can't be like, no, you can't do this, but, yeah.
There's certain things, though, that is different, though. Like, can I leave at 12 a.m.? Yeah, that's different. I'm a man, right? Now, if you know what I'm leaving to do, yeah, I mean, I'm going to meet Junior. We're going to do a podcast. You know, I'm a man. But why are you leaving at 12 a.m.? Oh, I'm gonna meet Julia to do a podcast. Why is Julia doing a podcast at 12 a.m. in the morning? You guys are women. Shouldn't she be at home attending to her husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, or her children. Why are you hanging out with a woman who's out at 12 in the morning?
Who the fuck is out at 12 in the morning?
You see what I'm saying? Like,
no.
Like, let's be honest. Like, there's certain things that, you know. Plus, it's easier for a woman to attract a man than it is for a man to attract a woman. So it's, it's a little different.
Yeah. Oh man, you got any questions?
No.
Anything you want to add? How much time we have on this?
You guys are hopping on for 2.5 hours.
So
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, there's like 35 minutes.
You know how I know we went for 2.5 hours? My back is numb.
What?
Dude, because I take a break at every hour. I was like, why is my back so numb? Like, I got up, I'm like, oh shit. It's been 2.5 hours?
Damn, we've been straight. Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, brother, for inviting me.
You flew in. I know you got other engagements and stuff like that, but I really enjoyed this conversation so much.
For the record, you were the first. So originally, I came here for you.
It means a lot
originally,
to me,
It
means a lot to me. Especially, you're from Florida.
I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Or Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
But
I flew in from Miami.
But
yes,
you
sir.
flew in from Miami.
Yeah. I got to rep my city a little bit.
I got to make sure, because I don't like people saying I'm from LA. I'm from Huntington Park, homie.
You know, I was born in Santa Ana.
Oh, no way?
Yeah, I was born in Santa Ana, California, bro. Yeah.
So then you were here, and then you went over there.
Yeah, I mean, I was
How old were you?
3 years old. Yeah, about 3. So I don't remember anything. I remember one thing. I remember a store called El Toro. I think it was a grocery store or a carniceria. El Toro.
Okay.
I remember La Gonzales. I think that was a grocery store too.
Well, Gonzales is still around.
Yeah. And I remember Food for Less.
Food for Less is still
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
And I hear my family talk about La Cuatro.
No.
Calle Cuatro. I don't know what. Supposedly it's
I'm
like
not
a lot
from
of
Santa
vendors.
Ana. I'm from this side of town, so I wouldn't know.
So I passed the sign that said Santa Ana. I was like, yo, that's where I was born.
That's dope.
Where? I don't know.
My brother, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Let everybody know where they could follow you. And how they could sign up for your courses or whatever.
Yeah, so you guys, you can follow me on every social media platform at I am Hector Jesus, or just go to hectorjesus.com. You know, you'll get a chance to see my story and what I come from and why I do what I do. So Instagram, TikTok, everything. I am Hector Jesus and hectorjesus.com. I appreciate you for having me, brother. For real,
brother,
man. This was an honor.
This was amazing.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, me neither.
I felt it. I don't know if you guys seen me do this. I'm like, fuck. Well, duh, 2.5 hours.
I love the setup too, man. I mean, it's beautiful. Everything is branded.
This was a regular office just like the other ones. 2.5 years ago, I came in and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do a podcast and you guys need to move all your stuff.
Yeah, no, you guys did it.
And right away, I knew everything, how I wanted it to be. I wanted the smooth. I wanted the this in the middle. Like, I came up with the majority of this, brother.
Now, this is dope. And then
I'm
branding,
very particular.
The branding is super important. You guys have the brand there and the brand on the microphone. Super important.
I have OCD too.
Yeah.
You know, and I come up with some of the pretty dope ideas, but everything has to be branding.
Yeah.
Branding is the most important thing of your platform.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I want to make sure for the new one, you're going to see way more.
Yeah, you were telling me about it.
Oh, it's going to be dope. And once it's done, I'm going to shoot you a text so you guys can come down.
Oh, yeah, we're going to come back.
For sure, my brother. Well, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you. We out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss our weekly episodes. Let's go, baby.